Hello, everybody, and
Hello and welcome to North
oops.
Wilkesboro, this short track in the western parts of North Carolina. We are here to continue the AWSCO Continental Playoffs, and there's a lot of excitement up ahead. What are you looking forward to most?
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hi, thank you, Medicine, for that, for opening up the broadcast for us there. I'm not sure what happened there, but both of us seem to have gotten the signal to start the broadcast at the same time. Um, but yeah, welcome to the welcome to the Oscar Windows Cup Series. Here we're live at North Wilkesboro in North Carolina as we set to kick off the first edition of the OSCO Windows Cup Series playoffs. Uh, Here for the Tyson Farms 400 uh, at this historic um, 5/8 of a mile short track. We've already had our first race of the weekend here in the Snapdragon Continental Series to kick off their playoff run. We're sitting here now anticipating the start of the Cup Series playoffs. Lots of things to talk about from the Continental Series race that started off the playoffs in that series, and a lot of questions I think are going to be asked of the Cup Series guys here as we set to take on to kick off the playoffs here. I'm Russia, and I'm joined here with Eddie to start off to kick off the broadcast. We're the ones in the studio here. So I'm not sure what happened there that led to Madison opening up the broadcast, but regardless, good to have you in the studio with me here. How are you feeling about this race? The Continental race at North Wilkesboro had quite a few incidents early on. Didn't take out too many cars, but it affected a lot of playoff drivers. We'll see if that pattern stays true here in the Cup Series race. It is going to be a fair bit longer. I think 150 laps more than the Continental Series race. There's lots of things to talk about. Lots of lessons to take away from the Continental race, I think. What are you looking for uh, notes wise from that race? If you remember anything from that.
Well, I would hope I remember it. I didn't hit my head after last night. Surprise. Surprise.
Why aren't you doing
Also,
that?
speaking... What?
Joking.
Okay, so the audio is going great to start off this broadcast. I'm very excited to see how the rest of it will go, especially since our director seems to be giving people misleading signs. But in terms of what I'm looking for in the race, what I saw last night in terms of playoff implications revolved really around just how really qualifying went, with a lot of the playoff drivers ending up in the back needing the playoff waivers. Whereas I mean, I look at what we have for the what's the right word here? The starting grid. I'm gonna call it a grid. I know that's F1 talk, but no one cares.
I mean, I do that all the time.
For
I use a lot of F1 terminology for covering
Yeah, and
this
we
all
should.
the time.
And this is also more of an international series, so we should have more crossover. In the end, the playoff drivers are more spread out throughout this starting grid and last night because of how different their qualifying procedures go, which should mean that even if we do have the level of crashes we had, which was two very early ones in that race, I would imagine that they matter less because cars in the back, there are only a few cars in the back that are in trouble if there is a somewhat of a pile up going into one of the turns, which is what we saw a couple of times last night. The other thing I want to look for really is, can Cindy Raristoun pull off a performance like Jackie Kennedy did last night? Jackie Kennedy led a hell of a lot of laps. No, I shouldn't say hell, but at this point, it's my specialty, I think, to say some words that probably don't need to be said. But Kennedy led most of the laps last night, won rather easily in the end. And Cindy Raristoun, Atlantic Racing's always been a great team, could definitely put together the car that could dominate, but I mean, maybe this is a sign for Cindy Raristoun, perhaps even Atlantic season, is if they can use the pole like Jackie Kennedy did last night to pull something similar off, or if they fall short really quickly, that could be a telltale sign for that team, especially since they're the only 4-car team, I believe, to have all 4 of their drivers in the playoffs. They've always been one of the top teams, but they got to get 1 car to victory lane and not 4 together. I don't think we're having 4-way ties around here. I'd hope not, at least. So someone's got to win, and Atlantic can right now put all of their drivers, including Rareston, in the conversation. Or Atlantic could have a bad race, and then we're questioning whether it's someone else like a Yania Waterton starting to her outside who have a chance at winning the whole thing here in this first race. A lot of predictions and assumptions in that, but nevertheless, momentum is one of the names of the game, rather big name, like John Hancock on the Declaration of Independence type of name. So we're just gonna really have to see how people start in this AWSCO Windows Cup Series race, and whether they start off on the right foot or whether they'll start trailing off the bat.
Yeah, we had 8 drivers in the bottom 10, starting in the bottom 10 positions in the Continental Series race. So that led to a lot of pressure being put on those drivers, especially when those first cautions kept trickling down. This time, though, in the bottom five rows, I believe there's only 4 cars starting up there: 31, 39, 71, and 34. So Atlantic Racing bookending the field here with the top Atlantic car on the 2 top seeded there's 3 cars that are seated in the same spot technically off of 2 bonus points, but 2 of the 3 top Atlantic cars seated that are seated in the playoffs right now, bookending the field, the 32 and 34. The other one, of course, Hollis Jukovic in the 62, starting in 10th place on the outside of row 5. The other one the one we haven't talked about, in terms of Atlantic cars, of course, second in the championship and after the end of the regular season, Jocelyn Nihil. With the way the seeding works before the start of the playoffs, she dropped 17 spots to a tie for 19th place down there with Felicia Vancy, who squeaked into the playoffs on points. Which just shows you how much performances in the playoffs are going to have to matter, especially in this first round with 20 cars, I believe. Yeah, with 20 cars all within 4 points of each other, only 1 point per 1 bonus point per win and 2 points for winning the regular season championship. And that difference between the 23 and 64 at the end of the regular season was the difference between being tied for 3rd and being tied for 19th. Which, how about it? This playoff format is going to be absolutely vicious. And we saw that in the Continental Series, I think, with the way the points were split after, between the drivers who did well in North Wilkesboro and didn't do so well.
Yeah, Sandy Martell being, I think, the shock of the evening, as me and Ellie talked about. As much as I want to make up your point, Rasha, I do have to point out the difference between tied for 3rd and tied for 19th right now is 2 points.
Yes.
Which you can make that up in a lap, essentially.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So
it is literally nothing.
It's nothing. That makes this fun in my eyes. I'm probably gonna get yelled at for saying this, but it makes it at least interesting off the jump. But again, you also have to figure out who's going to run really well, maybe run well enough to win a race. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting looking at the bottom as of right now, because you have Nihil and Vancy, who ran really, really well, but you also have Waterton, Little, McJasmina, and Happeman just barely on the cut line, 4 drivers who I don't think many people are expecting to go far in the playoffs, just because they've usually run pretty not great. Their averages are outside the top 20. The only other driver to have achieved that is Cynthia Rareston, but Rareston has 2 wins, admittedly, so a lot more credibility behind her. There's just an interesting build, again, with the win you're in rule of drivers who could easily pull away and drivers who could easily fall to the bottom. The issue is that with the points as it stands right now, you could really, as we saw with Sandy Martell, and I believe there was a shock early knockout. Who was it? LaTanya Gray, Cara Reynolds, he had a Yoko last night.
Yeah, Yoko's
in one race, a lot of things can change, and so I mean, we can see these backmarkers put themselves in a good position to advance to the next round, and we can see the drivers who we've seen do, great things this season consistently fall to the bottom and have to fight their way up into the round of 15. So it's gonna be interesting to say the least. Probably a lot chaotic, wild. Maybe that'll translate to fun. Maybe that'll translate to people yelling in our comment sections as they always do.
Yeah, and I
But
think
that's that's the name of the game.
yeah, which is why I think it's really interesting to see two of the drivers with the worst average finish starting on the front row today. Raritan and Waterton. Obviously, Raritan has those 2 wins, but it's been kind of inconsistent this season. Outside of that bright spot in the middle of the season during Bristol and South Boston. But do I need to say anything? Those are 2 short tracks where she excelled at, and this round right here, we're off at a short track already this season. This is to start the playoffs. This is a great opportunity for Raritan to kind of push her way past this kind of first round gridlock, basically, and kind of force another one of these drivers who's performed better over the course of the full season to really have to fight for it. I mean, Andrea Davison I think has the most top 10s in the Cup Series field. She's kind of in that tie for 12th with 1 bonus point. One bad race for her, she might find herself in a really hairy spot with over the next 2 races. So lots of things happening right now. Take a look where Davison's starting, right in the middle of the field, 22nd place, basically smack dab in the middle of the playoff field right now. And with the playoff
number.
Yes, that's correct. And with all the playoff drivers kind of
I know it's correct, Rasha. That's okay. You know what?
What I was saying.
I do my research. I'm not an idiot. I pride myself on this, and I hear laughing from the people behind the camera, which is not a good sign.
I think the camera crew knows a little bit too much about your tendencies.
Of course they do. They're operating the cameras.
But yeah, with the playoff drivers all distributed fairly evenly throughout the field, I don't think you could. I don't think you could do a better job of just kind of distributing the playoff drivers outside of maybe just giving all of them predetermined starting spots. Basically, I mean, look on the outside; they're almost starting on every other row, basically. I think that's going to make it really interesting, and hopefully, as many of the playoff drivers as possible at least make it through the first kind of opening melee of the race, where we're going to see maybe a few incidents early on. Especially watch out the exit of turn 2. The backstretch seems to be where all the chaos has been happening in the last race. Although I should say be wary of any wrecks that happen on the front stretch. If anything, if a wreck happens on the front stretch, that might cause a much bigger accident than if one happened on the the backstretch, given that the backstretch has at least a little bit of room for cars to spin around in. If you spin on the front stretch, you're bouncing right back into the field, and if someone from the sharp end of the pack is spinning, that might cause some real issues for some of these drivers in the mid pack. Hopefully that doesn't happen early on in this race.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other notes any other things you want to mention before we throw it over to the booth here? We've kind of spent a while.
No, not really. I'd say watch Mika Harina. I think the fun part about being on the far back outside on a short track is that the way to get to the inside is, I mean, you can do that in a heartbeat, and then the inside can be so much better than the outside, and we could really see Mika Harina fight her way up here in a matter of moments. And I'm interested to see what this drivers who didn't win their way in do, Nihale, Vancy, and Malixon. Especially since, for Nihale, Vancy, and Malixon, all of them have teammates that won races. Abby Little for MNC, basically Andrea Davison for Red Racing, and then Atlantic had everyone else win a race, some multiple times. Looking at you, Haley Zukovic. So in the end, like, they didn't win a race, they got in, but now you kind of need to put yourself in contention to win races, if nothing else, but to provide as much of a gap between you and the cutoff as possible. And so I expect these drivers to run well. They always seem to do so, Yaffy Malixon in particular, but it's just going to be interesting to see if those drivers are going to be as consistent as they have been to get these spots, or if pushing for the win is going to become more of a priority for those teams, and just to see where they end up. I also want to see where Abby Little ends up giving, has her teammate got in on points. She got in with a win at Michigan. Great track to do so, but also, you're not someone who people are expecting to do much in the playoffs, and you're starting kind of in the back of the pack. So we're just gonna have to see like where that goes for her. I guess I'll put her as sort of a wild card in the race, and then other than that, I don't know if you want to do winner picks. I really don't
Not
know
yet. I
who
think this
I would
early
say
on.
to win. Yeah. I mean, at this point, might as well not commentator jinx anyone yet.
Ha!
Even though I didn't do that yesterday, I
That is
called
true.
Jackie Kennedy, and Kennedy still won. So
Yeah.
anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And I feel like someone's got to do that tonight.
But yeah, I think MNC has definitely been a bit of a surprise package of this year. Given I think they as one of the minor four teams I should say in that stable, they're kind of in that weird spot, especially at the beginning of the season where they kind of struggled for pace a little bit. But I think as the season's gone on, especially Vancy and that one team have kind of come into their own and been very consistent performance-wise. We'll see if that translates to the 71 team. And Little at the very least is starting near the back of the field, so in a few laps time she'll probably filter back in and have an opportunity to move to the inside line, like how Rena will as well, I think. Alright, with that, I think it's high time finally to throw things over to the booth to close off the absolute yap session that we've had here in the studio. It's always a lively when Eddie's in the studio with us here, and
Because I'm the best, and then everyone looks at the commentator, and then I look at the commentators like voting board every week, and I'm always near the bottom, and it pisses me off. So I gotta be better in the studio, I guess, since it's the only time they're gonna let me on this godforsaken broadcast. No, seriously, look at it, and then Madison's at the top, deservingly, and then there's just like, oh, let's look at the bottom. It's like the dispatch standings, but in this case, instead of getting fired, I just don't get allowed on broadcast. It's depressing.
And on that bombshell, we'll throw things over to the booth. Echo and Madison will be calling the Tyson Farms 400 from us here. Please, everyone, enjoy the show here. It'll be at the very least, it'll be a very interesting strategy show for everyone here. We'll see how the drivers at the sharp end of the field deal with this at the start of the field as we set to kick off the inaugural AWSCO Windows Cup Series playoffs. Thank you on behalf of everyone in the studio for being with us. I've been Rasha, and we'll see you guys in the mid-race.
And welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway here in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, on that bombshell of a pre-race show. I'm Echo. I'm joined by Madison tonight. And Madison, how you doing? And what do you think we're expecting here from North Wilkesboro?
Well, I'm doing quite well now that we've given the director a chance to get their head in the game. But yeah, I'm really excited for North Wilkesboro, and I honestly can't wait. Field looks great, track looks great, weather looks pretty good too. So I think there's a lot to be excited for, a lot of chaos perhaps. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we'll see a bit of an interesting race. Last night's race, we saw a lot of action, but we also saw a lot of just pure green flag running. So I think we'll have an interesting one tonight here, I think. It's very calm weather-wise, no wind at all, like we've seen in the last few days. Just has not really been that much wind at the track. So these drivers don't really have that much forces pushing on them. I don't know. I think we'll see I think it'll be a fun race, but I think it may also have some chaos in it too. With that being said,
that does tend to be.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna let you talk, but we'll go through the starting grid then. Row 1, we have a couple playoff drivers. I'll be giving off the playoff drivers. I will be introducing all of them through here as we get through our starting grid. Row 1, Cinlia Rariston is alongside Yania Waterton, double playoff drivers. Row 2, it's Janet Parkings and Lowry Schliesenbach. Row 3, a playoff driver, Yappy Malikson, is alongside Sky and Jetta. Row 4, 2 playoff drivers. Last week's winner at Pensacola, Yenfianaga, is alongside Irina Tosima, the 4-time winner this year. Row 5, Carly Byrne is alongside Halis Jukovic, winner back at Daytona and at Richmond just a couple weeks ago. Row 6 is Nietzsche Garnston and Dira Reister. Row 7, 2 playoff drivers, Arlen Handstrom and Jocelyn Nihil, one of the drivers who pointed her way in. Row 8, the 60 AWSCO and the 42 of Meka Gennaro. Row 9, the 38 Youngwei Koo and a playoff driver, Marisha Vebelst, winner all the way back in Las Vegas. Row 10 is the 96 Angeli Rugatino. She's a playoff driver alongside Rachel Cole. Row 11, the 55 Breda Lod. She's a playoff driver alongside another playoff driver, Andrea Davison, who scored the most top 10s this season. Row 13, Periella Conte is a playoff driver alongside Michele Yatica. Row 14, 2 playoff drivers, Felicia Vancy, another driver who pointed her way in, alongside Gianni McJasmina, who won her way in by winning in Montreal. Row 16, the 21 Amani Wandayo, is alongside a playoff driver, Eva Ajarsaraj. Row 17, the 2 of Isa Ijavida, alongside the 82 of Pace Linearia. Oh, excuse me, this is row 17. Row 17 is Audie Stoneman, alongside Taylor Happerman, 10 and 31. Okay, no, this is row 17. I can't count, apparently. Let me just make sure this is really row 17. This is really row 17. 39 Lily Talberson is alongside the 71 of Abby Little, 2 playoff drivers. Row 18, the 3 of Mimi Barino and the 15 of Tabrizi Toleron. Row 19, the 20 de Gabi Abriella and the 26 Sophie Chantaze. Row 20 is the 91 of Alicia Byrne and the 34 of Mika Harina, who's a playoff driver, has 2 wins this year, 1 back at Motegi, and at the Echo Energy National Speedway, which is actually a pretty similar track to this one if you kind of look at it. But, yeah, what do you think is going to be a big key to this race? What do you think is going to be the best way to go through this one?
Well, I think I guess just getting our heads in the game, really, as producers, as commentators. I think we really need to get that straight. And so do the drivers out here. I think they need to just get their head in the game. They need to be smart about things and manage those long runs, because this track is certainly one that could wear tires down significantly, but you never know. I think short tracks, especially at night, always have some kind of unusual things going on, so I think you need to be prepared for just about everything.
Yeah, and last night we saw on the long runs, we'd see the tires wear out considerably. We saw almost 3 seconds of tire fall off at the end of a run, and that's going to be very much a big factor in this race. If we get to green flag pit stops at some point, we might see something very interesting happen. But for now, we're going to see 40 drivers starting side by side, and it's going to be very much, I think it's going to be a race to that first yellow. Engines have been fired. Veriston and Waterton will lead them to the green, as we will get the AWSCO Season 1 playoffs underway. 20 cars still have a shot to vie for the title in Homestead in just 10 weeks. Green flag is out, and we're racing in North Wilkesboro. There's already some 3 wide in the pack. And they get pretty antsy here. There's some 4 wide right there. Ooh, hang on to it.
I don't know how they're all keeping it straight so far. I think we have a car on the wall, though, further back.
62 of Jukovic.
Brushing the wall. Oh my gosh, 4 wide this early is just silly.
I don't know how they're still doing it.
I don't think they know how they're still doing it.
I don't think we'll know how they're doing it until it just suddenly doesn't work anymore.
Were we 5 wide for a moment there?
Might have been.
9.
Oh, the 6 is blowing up!
Oh, 6 cars blowing up.
McJasmina!
The apron. That will cause some problems.
I think she'll get
Two
down
differences, really.
to the apron. Gonna slow a few cars up, but not gonna be the worst thing.
Any other AWSCO race, and that would have been a giant wreck. Somehow they're not doing it tonight.
Suddenly Ariston holds the lead right now. Yania Waterton was fighting Janet Parkins. Parkins had gotten second for a little bit, but Waterton take it back. At the front of the field, it's relatively calm. Now the Gulf Racing teammates right here fighting, AWSCO and Youngwei Koo. There's Nietzsche Garnston fighting with Jocelyn and Nihale. This is going to be something we see, is there's going to be drivers that just kind of aren't showing up right now, but they'll get up there. You know, if we get some restarts, we get some calamity, as we saw the 92 of Yatika almost lose it there in the middle of the corner. And yeah, it was 3 and 4 wide at the start, and now we've pretty much narrowed it down. There's almost no 3 wide anywhere to be seen, really. Well, I say that, and we found a place where it's seen. Oh, there goes Reister. The 17's around. Gets bumped into by Arlen Handstrom.
I think everyone else is good.
Oh, they stacked up.
Rear ends the 17 as well, and several other cars are involved.
Gennaro and Chandaze's got big damage. There's the caution. And Rachel Cole is also spun around. All right, well.
Split strategy, it would seem. That could get very interesting.
Yeah, there's some
later in
split
this race.
strategy. Only 10 laps on the tires, but I don't really hate that. Russia.
Yeah, tires do wear quickly here.
Yeah, the rationale here for the 32 team coming in from the lead of the race is just to get some fresh tires on, just to be able, and they just want to be able to check the tire wear here after the first level lap, just evaluate the state of things here, and see how the tires wear on a fairly short run here. We'll see how that pays off for them. We know this track is fairly track position heavy, so this very well may backfire on them, but if it doesn't, this could pay dividends for that 32 team. But regardless, early goings in the race, so lots of time to recover from any issues, I think.
Eddie?
For the Jami McJasmine, it is a camshaft issue that got him stuck. Slow car in the middle of a bunch of cars. Managed to maneuver around it. Jami McJasmine not happy with the garage people in the garage right now, just in terms of putting together a good enough car. She really wants this playoff. She knew she was already behind, and you know, not a great start for her. Camshaft might be able to get fixed. I have not gotten confirmation, but it looked pretty bad. So even if that car does get on track, it's not going to be at the same pace of most of the others. It's probably just going to be out there in the hopes that other cars end up wrecking.
The 6 is already out of the
Camshaft
race, by the way.
Yeah, camshaft is a very difficult thing to repair on these race cars. That would be more of a thing you do next week back at the garage rather than in the pit area here tonight, that's for sure.
And you know, for McJasmine, a terrible start to the playoffs. I mean, she made it, and she's blown up a lap in. Or not a lap in, but like 3 laps in.
Well, I guess we'll see here how tires look as far as 10 laps versus none. I can't imagine it'd be a huge difference, but it will be interesting seeing how the cars that did take tires on this caution will progress through the field, especially as the race goes.
We'll take a look, but right now I want to check out what happened to bring out the yellow. Because this happens ahead of that 3 wide. 17 gets bumped, just kind of gets spun around by Halis Jukovic. Handstrom taps her a little bit. And then I think Shantaze... I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened to the 26. I think there was a bit of a stack up that just happened. No, that was a separate incident, actually. The 42 got into the 52 of Rachel Cole.
Runs over Cole.
Oh, that's where it is. That would do it.
Oh, did a car get upside down?
52,
oh,
like...
Yeah.
She didn't go upside down, though. Oh, no, she did.
Yeah,
okay,
she did.
I lied.
That was a full flip.
Very slow one, but...
without a crazy wreck, wouldn't it?
Meanwhile, we're back green. My apologies for not getting to the restart. We are back to green. Oh, car pitting 55, I believe. 55 looks like she had some sort of restart penalty. That's gonna hurt. Gonna put her at least a lap down. But we're back to green flag racing here from North Wilkesboro.
We are, and of course the 13 cars leading the race stayed out under the last caution, and then we have, I believe the 32 was the leader before that, and then did come to the pits for fresh tires along with about a dozen other cars, and we're starting to see what sort of progress that they can make on those fresh tires, and more 4-wide back here, I think.
There is. That's Abby Little.
Using
among others.
To get up ahead in 4-wide, clear of that by some
Almost 5 wide. Gennaro lost it there.
42 got out of shape.
And they're hanging on to it. Barely. Maybe.
Barely.
Felicia Vancy got on the wall pretty hard, and she had to come to pit road. That might have just knocked something out of shape there. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the lead. Here comes Janet Parkings. Oh, around goes the 62 of Yukovic into the inside wall. Gets back on track, but that's a yellow.
Double whammy and a caution. Just very bumpy start to this race.
19 of Handstrom has some big damage. Free pass car, let's see, it is the 55 of Delod.
It looks like the 32 came in, and of course, she came in under the last caution, was the leader,
Yeah.
came in for tires. I'm not really sure what the rationale is behind coming in again here. Like, do tires really make that much of a difference? Does the crew chief think, or is it more of maybe some sort of error? I don't know.
I don't know.
Interested to see how that goes, and it looks like the 13 will have the lead off pit road.
Well, some cars stayed out here, though. Nietzsche Garnston, Andrea Davison stayed out. Yabby Malikson actually did pit with Rareston last time, and she chose to stay out this time, so... .55 is letting the cars go around her. That's why she's slow there. So taking a look at Yukovic, she's still running. Car's still out there.
Yeah, it looks like she just got ran over as far as I can tell.
Racing with Yenfi Yanaga, and Yanaga, I think, just clips the quarter panel, yeah. She didn't hit it too badly. I think there might have been a separate incident that happened here, actually.
Decently hard.
Yes, yes, there was.
19. Ooh, yes.
I think this might have actually been what brought out the yellow.
10 car there.
Ooh.
Hubbardson got sideways and hit the 10.
Handstrom got into it too.
Tomarone as well, I think, got some heavy damage.
Good chunk of cars falling out from that. Ava Jarsraj is out in the 98 car. I'm not sure where her involvement came from.
I think she was out in that first caution.
Oh, yes, she was. Why did she fall out then? She doesn't look like she has a lot of damage.
Well, looks aren't always what they seem. That was an immediate retirement, I presume.
It was.
We should get going, and this time we will have to restart.
'55 spent some real extra time on pit road. Okay. The 55 will get. I will make sure she gets her lap back. We had 2 early cautions in the Continental race yesterday as well, so this is not exactly... I'm not exactly surprised we're seeing a bit of calamity early here, but... we can get a bit of a long run going. I think we may see some interesting racing. Here we go. Green flag is out.
Garnson with a healthy jump ahead of the 22 of Davison.
Oh, the 99 Vebelst is done. Meanwhile, Yappy Malixon pressuring her teammate, Andre Davison, trying to get the 22 out of the way, leaning on her a little bit. Thought about doing the bump, but just gave her a little bit of pressure. 10 car, I believe, has gotten a penalty of some sort. 17 might have also received one. 96 might have also gotten one. Oh no, 96 didn't. 96 is just... okay, 10 didn't either. I'm not sure what's going on there then. Davison's been shoved to the high line. She's pretty well stuck up there.
Yeah, I was going to say before that second caution came out that you can see how much better the inside is capacity. You do briefly have that momentum on corner exit, at least in turn 2, but you really just don't get that as much in the corners you find on, say, even some other bank short track.
Ichi Garnston has the lead right now. There's Janet Parkings and Yania Waterton. They're all the way, they're in decent spot now. They're up in 5th spot. 13 led everybody off pit road. Abby Little running in 7th right now. So pretty solid look for the 71. As we get as in the initial goings here.
Yeah, we're not seeing any of that crazy 3-wide, 4-wide frenzy that we had earlier. Things have calmed down quite a bit. Mostly line is third at the front, but plenty of side-by-side further back. I think fans are going to enjoy this. And like you mentioned earlier, with that long run, we should get some really good racing. Well, there is some 3-wide, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, there's some 3-wide, but it's way at the back.
One 3-wide instance, I think. Malixon is pressuring Garston, though, up front.
Yeah, the 23 looks like she may have something.
Yeah, that 27 is keeping the lead, but she is being kept honest. I'll say that much.
And Malixon's looking the inside for the lead. Malixon's going to go for it. To the inside, and the 23 should have it. And we've got a new leader, Yappy Malixon out front.
57
we have
tried
a
to lunge
3
back
wide
there,
for
but
second
running
here.
Wide, 3 wide for second.
Garnston couldn't get
13
down.
bottom, putting those fresh tires to use.
Garnston couldn't get down. Tosima was trying to get by the 27, and the 13 said, don't mind if I do, and took them both.
That was 2 birds and 1 stone. Well played for the 13 on those fresh Goodyear tires. And a chase down the 23 and maybe take the lead. And see, now I'm understanding the rationale behind the 32 coming into the pits a second time, because those fresh tires really do mean the world's difference.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
knew that with the first caution, but I was questioning, like, how much? We're seeing how much. We're seeing that 13 catch up. We're seeing that 13 make 2 passes in 1 corner. That is what we're seeing with those fresh tires, and can't wait to see how that'll play out in the strategy all night.
32 is just a little stuck right now. She's just kind of sitting back here. She's back in 22nd spot right now. Meanwhile, lead battle. Here comes Waterton. 13 back to the lead.
Yeah, that pass looked pretty easy, honestly. Like,
Ooh, we had cars.
From a baby, really. And here's 3 wide briefly.
We had cars bouncing around. Alacantes was really bouncing around cars. I was concerned she was going to cause something.
Wide settle now for the most part, but certainly a lot of excitement here. So we're seeing Janet Parkins make her way up to 3rd. She was running 2nd of the cars that did come to pit road on that previous caution. I think I can imagine the 13 and 72 having a battle for the lead once again.
Yeah, I could see it. We're seeing Yenfi Yanaga make moves. Carly Burns coming up through here. There's Mika Harina in the 34. Remember, she started all the way in the back. She stayed out. First yellow came in that second time. And it was really...
Alicia Byrne as well. Those 2 started on the last row, and now they're, I believe, in the top 10.
It was really biting the bullet, though, right now is Nietzsche Garnston. Garnston's well back. She's slipped back. She hasn't pitted at all. She stayed out on both cautions. She's kind of paying the price right now. She has 20 lap older tires than a good chunk of the field, and still 10 lap older tires than even some cars.
I mentioned Parkins making her way through the field. It looks like that's going to be a bit easier said than done. Now stuck on the outside. You can have fresh tires, but that outside line is clearly the worst of the 2.
Well, yeah, but I think Yenfi Yanaga also has those fresh tires. And, you know,
That is a good point.
Yanaga just won last week in Pensacola, so she's got the momentum. She's looking to the inside of Yapi Malikson, although she's not going to get it.
Not yet. A bit of a nudge, a push here. Just about.
She thought about it. Can't really get down there, though. Oh, she's given the 23 big shove.
That was a nudge, and she's going to pay for it, I think.
Yeah, she can't get by, and here comes Carly Byrne.
Parking's looking to pick up some scraps as well. Gonna get up underneath the 46 as Byrne makes her way through.
You know, Yapi Malikson's still on that. She pitted the first time, but she didn't come in the second time. And you're kind of seeing the 23s paying for her right now, because her tires are not really up to the same spec as everybody else's right now. She's still holding all these cars off, as here comes Parking's 3 wide to the inside. And this is dragging in Mika Harina.
Still on corner exit.
Look at who's being dragged in here. The 34 of Harina. She's suddenly up here. Oh, we had a spin up here. There was a spin somewhere. I don't know who it was, but somebody spun. There's no caution. It might have been the 39 of Lily Talverson, but I'm not sure.
I'm also sure the 39 was involved in that previous caution, so that could be just a bit more of a lingering thing. I would be interested to see perhaps who it was, though.
We'll see if we can find it. Parking's finally clear of Carly Byrne. Mika Haurina now trying to take this spot, trying to take fourth spot. I think Malikson is going to be at her most challengeable spot when there's a car coming up on her that's just one car. You see, there goes Parking's to the inside on the 23. But hey, if you're Yappy Malikson, this is still a kind of run you want. Regular season champion, doesn't have a win at all, but she won the regular season title. Just trying to hang on to those points, and still, she's looking pretty solid right now.
I can't help but agree, but you see those tires and just how much of an advantage we've had, and we talked about that before, but I mean, it's to the point to where the cars that started on the last run, they played the strategy right, now they're up in the top 10. You're seeing Malikson here pay for it quite a bit, both being on the inferior outside and having the worst tires. But this has all served the 13 very well, now 4 seconds in the lead.
Oh yeah, the 23 held up everybody, as the one car apparently has had a big issue, and she is done. The one car is out. We'll see if we can get any word on what happened there, but meanwhile, here comes the battle for second. Here comes Mika Haurina in the 34.
I think she'll get clear on the exit of 4 if things go right with this inside line.
She will.
And yeah, easily.
Haurina's gotten to second.
Question is, how much faster is she than Parking's? And will that gap close up any? Well, there's lap traffic. That could help.
13's kind of trying to get through the lappers right now. Powerson's being a bit annoying. It looks like Waterton will get through.
I think so, and then it's away to the next lap car. We'll see how much 34 can close in. Did close in some that last lap, but that was because of the lap car.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of closing.
And that was, again, because of the lap car.
Their team's not really pulling away from the 39 that much, though. Yeah, 34 gained again that time. And 13 was ahead of the 39 that whole time.
Here, that was about a 10th. We'll see how much that progresses, and of course, Thomason will be an obstacle to Hurricane and everybody else back there as well.
That's true.
But you do have a point. It's about a 10th closing in every lap, and that does add up, especially early in this race.
Here's Yappy Malikson trying to fight off Perry Alacantes, and Youngwei Ku and Tosima made some serious contact. I'm not sure how that didn't end up horrifically.
Still have that 3-wide situation back there, I think.
It's an everything
Well, now
situation.
It's 2 3-wide situations.
And look at Amani Wandayo. She's just decided to go through everybody here. In the 21 car. Yeah, Harina's still gaining on Waterton. Although, again, Waterton is in lap traffic right now. Harina isn't.
That is true, and now this is more substantial lap traffic for the 13 as well of Waterton.
Russia.
Yeah, major setback for the one team of Alicia Fanti. The header went on their engine. There, that's going to force them out of the race. And for a team that needed basically every single point in this round, given that they're starting at the bottom of the playoff grid, that's not going to be that is a suboptimal development for them. They're going to need they're going to need to work overtime to be able to make it past the first round now. Major issue really hurting the one of the MNC racing cars here today.
34 is now in the lap traffic, and she's trimmed the gap down to 2 seconds flat. So I don't know. It could be numbered days for Waterton here trying to get through these lappers. But Harina also has to get through them.
Some. That is very true, definitely. Just because a car is closing in while there's in lap traffic doesn't mean that that will stay that way. Second place car has to deal with it too. And now it's a bit more efficient for the 13 at this point. We'll see how that goes. And there's Michi Garston that the 13 is about to put a lap down. Was the leader at that last restart.
The leader at that last restart. Garston now about to be lapped because her tires are just that cooked.
I think that should be a lesson to the crew chiefs. Get tires. No matter what the caution is, get tires.
You kind of want to take 4 tires and fuel every yellow here. Seeing Waterton still having trouble getting around that 27, and there are some lap cars that are looking at potentially even trying to try and pass the 13 themselves, as here comes Mika Harina closing in on the 13.
Now it's only the 92 and a fraction of a second that separates that group, as we have a bit more 3 wide back there. Ever so briefly, we saw Byrne get sideways.
Which Byrne?
Alicia, the blue one, the one that got sideways on the front stretch.
I was gonna say, because there's 2 Byrnes that are running up here. 39 cars pitting. And here we go, here's the challenge for the lead. Oh, and here's the dive bomb to try and get by the 27 as Harina takes the lead away from Waterton and pretty much shoves her way by the 27. But new leader, it's Mika Harina out front from last to first in 75 laps.
That was guts and gumption, that pass, and she's got the lead now. We'll see if she can pull away from the 13 at this point. Lap traffic not a factor for the top 2 just yet.
There may be a little more factor here, too, because Yenfi Yanaga's closing in on Waterton. Alicia Burns closing up. We got Carly Byrne making her way up here. And some of these cars that, came to pit road have even fresher tires. The 62 came to pit road a little, not that long ago, and she has really fresh tires, and you're seeing it right here.
Seeing the gap as well up front, about 10th and a bit.
There's Yappy Malikson. Ooh, hang on to it, Abby Little.
But I'm talking about the top 2.
I know, I'm just looking at Yappy Malikson because we're talking, you're saying get tires. She's a big example of that too, because remember, she stayed out there as well. She only had about 10 laps on her tires, and look how far she's fallen back. She had the lead at one point. For a good bit, too. And look at how far she's fallen back.
She was running second on that last restart, and now it's pretty much just gone to waste at this point with some strategy just not really understood, I suppose. Of course, anything can change this race, but it's not looking good right now. So we're seeing Toberson just slice their way through here with those fresh tires.
Yeah. Again, 39 and 96 both have fresh tires right now. Same for the 62. You're gonna watch the 62 fly right through. She's gonna get blocked a bit first, but
Yeah, it's looking a bit more like a Wright Brothers flight than a Concorde flight, I suppose. But yeah, they are fresh tires certainly on the 62, and I think now that chance is going to open up.
there we go. She'll get it here rather easily. And especially if I'm Mika Harina, I'm just gonna let that 62 go. That's a teammate. That's my teammate in that 62. Hey, there's 10th place at Young Wei Ku in the 38. She's 10th. Perry Alicantes is sitting 8th. Amani Wandayo is in 7th. Meanwhile, Harina is starting to gap the 13 a bit now. And yeah, from the 34,
Sideways
just let
there
her
for the
go.
62.
She
Not
didn't
really,
let her
no.
go.
62.
Oh,
It was more so
yellow.
the 62
Yellow is
having a
out.
problem.
We got a car around. It's
Out.
Rugatino.
Rugatino. Probably got sent up into the wall there. We'll see what happened later, but Yukovic does unlap herself on the 34.
8 car of Schliesenbach is the free pass. And I am pitting. No matter who I am, I'm pitting.
You'd be foolish not to. We've seen it. We've seen it develop on the long run. If you do not pit, you're basically wrecking your own race if there's a long run.
Yeah. I mean, Nietzsche Garnston is well out of the free pass position. That's how much she hurt herself there by doing that. And that was just with 20 laps.
Exactly, just 20. And imagine how the Reds get here. If we have 100 laps and you don't pit on the previous caution, that is basically a death sentence. We'll see how the pit road situation ends up here as we see Schliesenbach going by for that free pass.
Oh, 13 won the race out, though. But there was contact between Waterton and Breriston there, exiting pit road. But the 13 wins.
But it was a touch.
The 13 won the race out. There's the 8 car coming down pit road.
Top 2 again.
Okay, if the 8 car gets black flagged, I'm gonna clear that.
Well, we'll see what happened with Rigatino getting up into the wall.
Something happened here with the 96. It was in turn 4, I believe.
She's on the outside of the
Oof.
38 here. Oh,
39 and 15.
But
Made contact. Oh, the 10. Oh.
10 got sent up, and the 96 was collateral.
10 got sent.
What happened with the 10 there? Got turned off the bumper. And
Oh, Talberson with those. Talberson has those fresh tires. That's the thing. Talberson had the fresh
Yeah,
tires.
she just dive bombed it in there.
And I think she just sent it, and the 10 just kind of, 2 cars just kind of converged.
Yeah, she just got sideways off the 15 and pretty much hit the 10. Bit of a chaotic mess there, really. We are seeing Rigatino pit again.
Eddie.
Busy listening to the radio call between on the 96 car. Angeli Rugatino apparently seems pretty okay with having no hood on the front of her car. Said it reminds her of how good Rachel Ramos was running last night, albeit her crew chief then had to remind her that Rachel Ramos hit the inside wall on the back stretch head on without her hood, but Rubitino shoved it off and said she could probably do better than she will. So even without the hood, still a bright future, or at least an outlook on the future for that 96 team and their driver.
I like the brashness.
One way to look at it. Oh, the 8 actually didn't get penalized? Huh, okay.
Well,
Anyways, green flag.
Out front here. Will we go 3 wide again? Have they learned from their mistakes early in this race?
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, this is oh my gosh.
See what I mean?
That is another incident involving the 10 car.
Hey, here's the battle for 5th right now. Amani Wandayo is battling Carly Byrne for that spot at the moment. Harina's pressuring Waterton again, and we may see that fight for the lead happen once more. How about Abby Little moving up? She's moved up into the top 10. She's in 10th spot right now. 23 Viampi and Malikson really slipped back quite a bit. She must have just had a bad pit stop or something. Meanwhile, here comes Amani Wandayo trying to take 4th away from Yenfi Yanaga, and she basically forced the 46 high up the track. 13's pitting. Okay. Ooh, Carly Byrne.
Oh, Carly Byrne got sideways. Sideways in a bit.
See if we can figure out what happened with the 13, why she came down pit road, but that's a bit surprising.
Let's take a look at that pit stop. I think it might just be for regular service, but I'm not so sure.
It
No,
looks like it was. That's what it is.
I'm frankly baffled. First, you get me fresh tires that are yellow, not under green immediately after a restart.
Well, yeah, and that's gonna knock her down a lap too. In fact, that might lock her down 2 laps.
I think it's 2.
It is 2.
It should be 2. Yeah, we'll register at the line here. Wait, bit of a 3 wide back there, I think. So
Russia?
quite a few battles throughout the field.
Yeah, 13. I think they were suspecting a slow puncture on the 13. They were debating over whether or not to come in during that caution. They elected not to do it, but it seems to have only gotten worse as we see another car coming in here. That's closer to 32, which is Leah Raristown in as well. Double check what's going on with that team. Hopefully we get something else out of this. Lots of cars coming in under green here. Some mysterious pit strategy going on.
Very odd.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused because the 13 did come in under green, right? Won the race off pit road, and then came in again. I'm genuinely baffled.
I mean, like Rasha said, maybe they said they might have had a slow leak, so that could have been something. As we see another car is in, that's Sky and Jetta in the 16, and Halis Jukovic is in, although Jukovic has quite a bit of damage. So, hey, there's a car we haven't seen much today. Jocelyn Nihil, she's driven her way up into the top 10. She's in 8th spot right now. Abby Little sitting in 6th, battling with Amani Wandayo. Youngwei Kuz moved up to 4th in the 38 car. Taylor Happerman is 3rd. A lot of cars we don't see a lot of. No, we haven't seen a lot of. Making some noise as the caution is out. There's a car around, and it's the 16. She had just come off pit road.
I'd imagine maybe got hit trying to rejoin the racetrack. Might have caused that caution.
That would be my guess. Yep, here comes everybody down pit road. 22, Andre Davison is the free pass car. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll check that out once we get through these pit stops. Watching second place Janet Parkings. There's Harina. She'll leave the pit road first. Parkings follows. Happman, Koo, Little, Wandayo, Nihil, Abriella, Byrne, and Barino.
So there she is, having some sort of service. Comes off. I'd imagine just rejoins and gets in front of another. Oh, Talberson gets into the wall quite heavily there. And
Oh no, that wasn't even.
My gosh.
She didn't even merge badly. The 55 just drove into her.
These merges are sketchy on short tracks, but yeah, not unlike
That was not. That was.
incident.
That's not on the merge, I don't think. That's just the 55 just kind of diving it down a little too
I think
little
the
too
55
hard.
expected and jetted to be a little bit faster and tried to turn down and just misgesture front left.
Oh,
corner.
car's blowing up.
Could've
That's the
baffled, frankly.
20 of Abriella. And there's a couple cars that are coming back down pit road. Youngwei Koo and Amani Wandayo.
That was catastrophic for the 20 there. Seen the 9 pull low.
Well, Abriella will not be in the top 10 here.
Probably not. I don't think that sort of situation is ideal.
Not usually. Alright, green flag is out. We're back to racing. We've already got to move.
Marina did not have a good jump. Happman, I think, going for second already. At least thought about it momentarily.
Happeman went for second. Couldn't get it done. Alicante's just got on the wall pretty big. Ooh, 31, I think, looked on the 72, but she got really low. Oh, make contact with Abby Little. Wandayo's down pit road again. Oh, Wandayo had a penalty, that's why. There's Jocelyn and Nihil battling with Abby Little, and hey, 4 of the top 5 right now are playoff drivers. I think a lot of them aren't even who we expected. I don't think we expected to see Happman or Little up here, really. How about Mimi Barino? She's moved her way up to 7th. This has kind of been the these have been the tracks she's been really good at lately. She ran well at Iowa. She ran well at Richmond. She ran well at Echo Energy International Speedway. Finished second at the Echo Energy International, actually. And now she's in the top 10 again. Oh, the 2 is slow. That's
Oh, that was a close call. With this
that's
22.
Isa Javida. I don't know if she's gonna make it back.
That will be a caution. She's gonna stop middle of the track, I think. That is a very dangerous spot.
Caution's out.
Caution is out now.
There we go. She at least despawned before anybody hit her. I believe Mika Harina technically was the only car that did not take the yellow flag, so that's why she's so far out front of everybody here. There are a few engine issues striking today. And everybody's down pit road. Pre-pass car, 27, Anichi Garnston. Well, we saw the cost for the yellow, so not really much to go back and look at there. Harina wins the race out. It'll be parkings. Abby Little will get to third. Happeman, Barino, Nihale, Byrne, Malikson, Wesco, Tosima, the top 10. Our unpaid intern is trying to send it to the mid-race report.
Well, hang on. That's a paying intern, isn't it? Because, I mean, you paid to be part of the program, right? That's what I seem to remember.
Maybe.
I don't really have the financial information on that. That's just the rumblings I've been hearing back at the head offices.
And we'll have to bring that up with. We'd have to bring that up with management.
Yeah, I think we've had a fair share of things to bring up with management lately, but I suppose we'll talk a bit more about that another time. Find other things to talk about under this caution.
Well, hey, looks like nobody. Looks like there's not going to be any lap cars in the middle of the top 10 for this restart. That I have to wave around. I mean, there won't ever be lap cars in between the top 10 because I.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a pretty short green flag ride between the Lada Jetta incident and then the two blowing an engine. So, not that many cars that got to go a lap down during that time. His car's lights are out. We will get a restart this time.
Yep. Lap 120. We'll have 120 laps complete when we go back green. 3 playoff drivers in the top 5. 6 in the top 10. Harina, Little, Happeman, Nihale, Malikson, and Tosima are those 6. Green flag. And Harina did not get a very good start. And here comes Jenna Parkings to the inside for the race lead.
That was immediate, and it's going to be side by side down the backstretch. I think it's going to be on the quarter panel. I think. Not quite clear on the exit of 4, but having that advantageous inside mostly clear. Should be before long. Here comes Little for second.
Here comes the 71.
Parking's not quite clear yet. That outside just lasted enough for Marina to make a challenge.
Mimi Barino just got around Taylor Happerman for 4th.
She did. Harina did lead that left set. You see that outside just coming in, at least in 3 and 4. Down to 1 and 2, the inside is still clearly better. I think Parkings will keep the lead for good here.
Parking's finally clear. Little trying to take 2nd.
Happerman trying to take 4th back again, momentarily.
Little still trying to get around Harina. That 34 has been doing a good job holding on the outside here. And I will say as well, this race has been a lot more competitive than yesterday's. We only saw 2 lead changes in yesterday's race, and that was in 250 laps. We saw about that many. We've seen about that many. We've seen about like 4 times that many today, I think.
Yeah, we have seen a little bit more than 2 so far today, and quite a few more changes for other positions as well, I would hope.
Meanwhile, here comes Yappy Malikson in the 23 car. She's made her way back up here. Caution is out. Yellow. There's a car around. It's Davison in the 22. She'll get it back going. Ooh, here comes the split. Here we go. We got another split. See, now I'm not sure what the better strategy here is, because how long were we green there for? We were green for about like 5 laps. I'm not sure if 5 laps fresher tires is that better.
Not sure. I mean, we did see 10 laps. That's a big difference, I think, especially in the long run. I think 5 might be a bit more modest, but I do still think it is a noticeable difference.
Michele Yatica will be the free pass car. Happy Malikson chose to pit the 2nd time by for whatever reason. Maybe she just got called in late and missed it the first time, but that's going to cost her a decent bit of track position. Either way, top 10 filled with lead lappers, so... if we can figure out what happened to Andre Davison to bring out the caution flag. I think it was the
so
92.
Here we are, heading into turns 1 and 2.
Oh yeah,
We've
92 just clipped.
ran her over.
Yeah. And the 92 was the free pass car too, keep in mind, so... Well, 6 cars at the front of the field chose to stay out here. And those are Parkings, Barino, Carly Byrne, Tosima, Koo, Schliesenbach. Everybody else is on fresh tires.
On this restart.
Yeah, that's who I'm gonna follow.
I'm not so sure I trust that, but we'll see.
That's who I would be following here, the 34 and the 71. They're not that far back. And the green flag is out. The 92 will not get her lap back, actually. Because she brought out the yellow that caused the caution. Her free pass has been rescinded as, ooh, they're getting tight here. Saw Youngwei Koo going for the spot on Tosima. There goes Harina and Little past Lowry Schliesenbach. Meanwhile, we may have a battle for the lead because here comes Mimi Burrito. How about Andrea Davison? She just got spun out. She's battling for a spot in the top 10 now.
She is, but I like to point out Schliesenbach, of course, was that 6th car. Got into the wall just a bit there, but was that 6th car, the one who stayed out and is paying quite dearly for it. So I think 5 laps is still a big difference as I expected.
Five laps is still a decent difference, but I think we're gonna see how much that affects them over the length of this run because it hasn't been too consequential yet. I think Schliesenbach more so just got stuck on the outside. Meanwhile, a fight for 7th. Abby Little under pressure from AWSCO. Little will hold on to the spot. Harina's pressuring Arinia Tosima for the 5th spot.
Certainly has caught the 93. It's just a question of when do you pass the 93. Little might go for a gamble of her own before that. Not just yet, though.
She might. Nope.
She looked.
She had a look. She had the room to do it, but she just couldn't really do it. A lot of cars getting out of shape there. I think Harina got a little out of shape. That made the 71 have to look to the inside. Again, Wesco looking underneath that 71. Oh, and again, Wesco getting out of shape.
Wesco sideways.
Now there goes the 91. She just got around Nihil in the 64. See Perry Alicante is trying to make that move as well. Yappy and Malikson starting to climb back up through here. There's Taylor Haveman. Arena's really struggling to get by this 93. Oh, really struggling, and that's going to let the 71 underneath.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Little can complete the pass. Not quite, no. Not so sure.
Well, 34 got a really good run on the outside, but Little's back.
We have noticed that from the 34 that she can handle that outside.
Ooh, look at that. Little gave a bump to the 93. She gave a bump to the 93. Did not wanted her to get out of the way. And she gets through. Abby Little now going to be the first of those cars with fresh tires to get around the 93 of Tosima.
And it was 3 wide briefly with Tosima. Now outside the top 10. Just about.
Yeah, Tosima's pretty well been shuffled now as the 23 and 31 are around. That should be a caution.
Curious spot. Caution is out.
Yappy Malikson and Taylor Happelman, that's 2 playoff drivers. And more splits.
Okay, so we saw 5 laps. It wasn't a huge difference, but it was something of a difference. I think right about the time that we got that caution, drivers were about to start passing each other and the fresh tires are about to see their true advantage. Now, the cars that are staying out here, I think is a big mistake.
Oh, I agree. It's been too many laps.
Very smart from Parkins and everyone else. And I suppose that these cars here were gambling on another caution now that I think about it.
Parkins wins the race out. Little, Harina, Tosima. Looks like it'll be Carly Byrne. These are all lap cars. Oh yeah, that's only what, like 5 cars on the lead lap that stayed out here?
Yeah, 5 cars.
The 3, 38, 60, 22, 46.
I suppose maybe those 5 cars could be gambling on another caution, but will you get that? I really don't think so. Now, see what happened with the 23 and 31 over in turn 3 as they went sliding up toward the wall. It's like they just got into each other as far as I could see.
They got all mixed up around here. Nihil got on the wall.
Got into the wall and then Malikson checked
Oh, they just went 4 wide. Nothing Malikson could do there. Malikson, Haberman kind of got ran into by Waterton trying to take them 4 wide for whatever reason, and...
Waterton didn't make contact.
Did she not?
No, I didn't see any.
Oh.
I think it was close. And she
Well, I think she did send it 4
contact.
wide, and I think that just messed up Happelman enough to where
She
it
did.
just...
I think that scared Happelman a bit.
Yeah.
And of course, Nihil hitting the wall as well. That was just a bit of a crazy situation.
Yeah.
As tends to happen at short tracks at night.
It's been one of those races. But to be fair, I can't say it's entirely unexpected. It is North Wilkesboro. Amani Wandayo got the free pass, so she's back on the lead lap. Oh, she did have a black flag. Well, you don't anymore.
Well, 3/8 done with the race. We're about to get a restart here. Top 5 did stay out, did not take tires. Everyone parking's back, does have fresh tires. And we'll see how that goes on this restart. I really don't have that much faith in the top 5.
No, I don't either. But they'll probably hold up for at least a little bit.
See how long as Brino rounds these corners and is awaiting the green flag.
There we go. Green flag. Wow, the 38 really got a terrible start. Oh, and Parkins is around. She's in the wall. She's got damage. Big damage to the 72. Off the bumper of Abby Little.
Somehow no yellow for that.
Well, she kept it going. 72's still going. She didn't stop or anything. She kept it going straight, too.
Well, not for long. She does have smoke billowing out the back of that race.
Well, yeah, she's done. She's going to be done.
Tyson those on fresh tires and out of the race. Now it's up to Little to try and prove those fresh tire thinkers right as far as those top 5 not having the right decision.
She's going for
She's
5th on Yanniga.
Here.
We may see a move for the lead because here comes AWSCO. Oh, Yanniga off the bumper of Tosima. They make more contact.
A bit more contact. Marky, but they kept it straight somehow.
Here comes Harina now, taking this spot back from Little.
Simultaneously making an attack on Young Wei Ku in the 38. Going to get by quite easily. Kind of like stealing candy from a baby. Little still in the thick of it. As here's the 34 trying to take 3rd.
Trying to take 2nd, really. There's a battle for 3rd right now between Davison and WESCO.
True. You do have to take 3rd before you take 2nd, even if aggressively.
16 is merging in a really very weird spot. They are all over the place back here. I'm not sure how this isn't a wreck. Never mind.
Oh, no, it is.
And somehow they kept that straight, and that's not a yellow. Okay.
Blackman just got bored, I suppose.
I mean, sure. Sure, why not?
Sort yourselves out, I guess.
Here comes Harina for the race lead. Of course, forcing the issue on Barino, but she's got it. And Harina's just gonna fly away here, I think.
Yeah, it's up to Little to get by those cars on fresh. Oh, here's Happman, actually.
Here comes Taylor Happman.
It was up to Little to get by cars without those fresh tires, and she's not doing that.
There's a lot of drivers that could get up here and compete. Seeing Tosima as well. We've Tosima as one of those cars on fresh tires, too.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of neat potential woman type of situation to where you could get up and you could pass those fresh. You could pass those cars without fresh tires, and you could get into the battle for the lead with those fresh-clad cars, but you aren't. It's just potential.
3 car is really, really holding up everybody right now. I mean, Tosima, I feel like you could... Tosima is definitely one of those cars that I don't think Tosima is a meet potential here, because she's got 4 wins on the season.
I suppose not, but I can't prove otherwise until she gets up and battles for the lead, and you're seeing Barino here keep 2nd, despite those old tires. I think that is something of a statement, as we have quite a bit of 3 wide up here. Waterton was trying to make it 3 wide on the exit of 2 and just could not quite get there. That was probably a good thing.
Here comes Alicia Byrne. And the 91 car. And Waterton is actually a couple laps. Yeah, she's 2 laps down right now. Finally, Alicia Byrne will clear Barino. Finally, somebody got by the 3.
Here comes Waterton, and now Little finally getting through.
Little will get 3rd.
Potential women allegations, at least in part.
And caution's out. Oh, that's a big wreck. Tolerone.
That is a bit of a faff, and we're going to see the 15 go straight to pit road. Like about half a dozen other cars involved. Oh, everybody wants to come to pit road. That might not be a good thing this time.
92 is the free pass car. We'll watch the 34 in the race out here. But for those cars, this is actually a pretty good. That's pretty good timing for them on this caution. They didn't lose that much.
It is a good deal. I think that the idea behind staying out like this, the idea behind staying out under yellow is that you expect another yellow to come soon after, and in this case it did. Last case it did. I'm not sure if it will here, and I don't think that the crew chiefs thought it would because everybody came in as far as I could tell.
Pretty much everybody came in, yeah.
Were there any exceptions? I don't think there were, actually.
There was not. Everybody came to pit road.
Exactly. I don't think they expect another caution immediately after this one, but expectations are not the script, that's for sure.
Why is the 21 missing a hood? More importantly, why is she in the top 10? Eh.
We'll see what happened there at the Tiller and others in turn 1.
Oh, she was blowing up.
Oh, the 15 blew up, and they just scrambled to avoid her. And
She blew up right in front of the field, and the 30 and the 38.
They got away Koo, and Talberson, and there's a separate incident back there with Rugatino.
Rugatino, they think that might have been them. They might have just stacked up because they were trying to slow up for the incident ahead.
Action, and it was not ideal.
Yeah, and there's not really much places to run if there's a wreck on the front stretch.
Yeah, we saw it earlier. Track got blocked with one wreck, and it just about got blocked with that one. Although in both instances it did happen closer to the back, so it wasn't as significant. But if there's a wreck in the front stretch that happens among the front runners, that could be catastrophic, really. Restart this time.
We're gonna go back green here. Here we go, green flag, back to racing.
Not a splendid jump for the 34. 51 is going to apply some pressure immediately.
Little's
Little
gonna
to the
look,
inside,
Little's
I think
to the
on
inside.
Arena holds on for now.
No,
Not
she
yet,
doesn't.
though.
And we've got a new leader. It's Abby Little out front.
I was going to say, though,
And the
it's
crowd
a-
goes
she's
wild.
clear in turn 1. Possibly. Well, here's Burrito trying to take second.
Here comes Mimi Barino in the 3 car. She's back.
Yeah, she was one of the ones that I was doubting as far as those who didn't take tires on that most recent caution, and, well, I think I was wrong. For once. Here comes Happman as well on Harina. That 34 is clearly
How
struggling.
about Jocelyn
on this restart,
Nihale in
stuck on that
5th?
side.
Jocelyn Nihale in 5th. Yappy Malikson in 7th. Aislinn Yuri has moved her way up to 9th. Or up to 8th, excuse me. There's 2nd place, Happeman challenging Harina. Or 3rd place, excuse me.
Yeah, I did mention that was a battle for third. Jukovic is trying to get her to the top 10. Haven't got a free pass earlier.
Jukovic is multiple laps down. She's 4 laps down, actually.
Back up front, looks like the battle for third is just about settled. Happman trying to get by. Harina holding on decently well, things considered until now. Little being kept honest by the 3.
despite the amount of wrecks we've had, there's not too many cars out of the race. I think we've only lost 13.
There are a number of damaged cars on the racetrack, though. I will say,
Yeah.
like the 21, the 96, multiple that do have parts missing. The 39 has no rear end, so.
I mean, there's a
few
lot
more
of cars that have no rear end. Hell, the 22 was battling up towards the front of the field with no rear end not that long ago. So
I think the no rear end thing is actually a good damage to have because I think this has been mentioned before, but when you have that, it gets rid of a lot of drag that you have on the rear end, but it doesn't really affect your downforce much. So having less drag on the car is generally good at a place like this, or anywhere really.
not having the rear end really just it's kind of like it's not really that consequential unless you have other damage pretty much.
Yeah, it is kind of the nothing burger as far as damage by itself. It's just when you have other sorts of damage that it's more of a problem.
Abby Little starting to gap away a little bit. Mimi Marino sitting in second. Taylor Happman, Mika Harina, Irina Tosima make up the top 5. That's 4 playoff drivers that make up the top 5. The only one that isn't a playoff driver right now is Mimi Marino in second. If you've seen how she's run on the short tracks lately, that shouldn't be much of a surprise. 6th is a playoff driver, 7th is a playoff driver, 9th is a playoff driver. I don't know what they're doing back here, but it's not good. And Wandaya's holding her own.
It was 3 wide, now it's not.
You know what? Wandaya's holding her own, to be honest. Even with that missing hood, she seems to be holding her own decently well.
I mean, to be fair, around this racetrack, we've seen more than a few cars without hoods, be it intentionally or not.
Alacantes has moved up to 8th past Pace Linearia. I think now we're going to start to see maybe a bit of a calmer part of the race where they're not really pressuring each other too much here. Because we're starting to see a big split. They're starting to get fairly single file. They're starting to get gapped a little bit. Starting to calm down a bit, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
It is, and I think that's sort of what they expected, hence why everybody came to pit road. Nobody stayed out betting on another immediate caution, and I think the crew chiefs were right this time.
.2 seconds, the gap from Little back to Barrino. And hey, Abby Little, fan favorite. She's definitely one of the strongest cars right now. I think she's kind of showing her cards that when it's time to play, she can battle. She showed that in the in-season tournament. She's showing it here in the playoffs now as well.
Yeah, definitely beating those potential women allegations tonight. Of course, did get by those cars earlier when it was a battle of 5 on old tires versus everybody else on new tires, and now solidly in the lead at this point. Gradually pulling away as well.
You say that, but Barrino did gain a little bit that time.
Couple tenths, yeah. I suppose we'll see how that develops over this run. So we're looking back at a few other drivers. There's Barrino in second. Soon enough, lap traffic will be a problem, I think. And that time...
Well, you were there for Iowa. You were there for Iowa, I think. And Richmond. You remember how good the 3 was at both of those races, yeah. And, you know, she finished second back at Echo Energy International.
Yep, more or less about the same. Around a second and some change up front. Lap traffic will change that, and I think Little is going to approach that within the next 2 or 3 laps, perhaps. I know we did see some cars up ahead on that camera shot.
She is
There's
catching
Mr.
up to the 17 and the 55 here. And 71 looks underneath and she'll try to drive through this lap traffic, but that will probably help the 3 catch up with just a little bit. But Little got through those 2 cars very smoothly.
She
Fight
did.
for
We'll see if
sixth.
Marino is that fortunate.
Fight for sixth.
sixth here. We see
Malixon and Nihale, and
Alcantes
Alacantes is in here
that as
too.
well.
Now that's Alacantes fighting Nihale for 7th, and the 18 will take that spot away, so Nihale drops 2 spots there.
Looking ahead, Marino has cleared those lap cars now. Not as smoothly as Little did.
Not
You
as
see
smoothly
that
as
in the
Little, but
timings.
it was
Second
gonna
lap now.
it was gonna be very hard to clear those lap cars as quickly as Little did.
Now we'll see what Rigatino's behavior is like than these other cars up ahead. I think it should be a bit more of a hassle. They don't look quite as slow as the other lap cars back there.
Rigatino's also a manufacturer mate to Little, because that's another Ford. You can't tell from the front end, but that is a Ford.
Rear you can tell though. I will give it that. They haven't lost the back end yet.
Now, yeah, she is starting to have a little trouble getting around the 10 here. She'll get clear, though. And there's a 55 getting shuffled way out of the way here.
That's what this race here in the midpoint does look very different from how it did to start this event, that's for sure. A lot
Yeah.
of big players out, that sort of thing. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, but right now it's kind of we're kind of at that lull in the middle of the race where it's kind of just, you know, the race is just kind of happening right now. Not too much to say. A lot of traffic
Yeah.
to talk about.
Before long, maybe we'll get a caution, as tends to happen at certain points of the race when it's most inconvenient.
Well, hey, this is one of those tracks where you can just get one of those random cautions for no reason.
And we've seen it multiple times tonight.
See, Little's gotten through Youngwei Kus and Leah Rariston. She's now 5 laps down. Well, with the lull in the race that we're having right now, I think that means it's about the perfect time to take it down to the FanDuel Fan Studio for our mid-race report and our FanDuel Fan Picks eventually. We'll see what Rashi and Eddie have to say down there in the FanDuel Fan Studio. Take it away.
I mean, this one has been quite a bit of a doozy so far.
I would agree.
Lots of action in the first 200 laps of this race, but things seem to have calmed down now. We're in the middle of a decently long green flag cycle, as we're finally getting around to negotiating lap traffic in. Here comes the 3 of Mimi Barrino. Getting around the 38 of Youngwei Ku is she tries to track down again the 71 of Abby Little, who's been excellent here in this last run here. But we had a 2-second gap with a lot of clean air between her and the next car, 39 of Lily Tulberson. Good opportunity here for the 71 to really make up some ground, or potentially for the 3 of Barino here to potentially claw back that gap. But yeah,
He's not doing a good job of that. Marino just lost about a.
To be fair, she was, yeah. To be fair, she did just clear the 38, so that's probably why. 71's been very good at negotiating traffic. Probably the best of all the top 5 cars here. Look at that, she already clawed back 2/10 of that advantage that the 71 had. So 31's definitely kind of fighting a lot of battles here, to say the least. Seems like she has a slightly faster car, but isn't as good at negotiating traffic as the 71 is. We'll see how that pans out if it does go green, but we haven't been green for too long in this race. That's kind of been the story of the day. Lots of cautions breaking up the action.
Oh my goodness gracious, did I just see what I think I just saw on the monitor?
What's that?
The 3 car just absolutely slammed the outside wall in turn 2.
Did she? Oh, we'll see in the lap time here. She did lose quite a bit, yeah. Hey, we were done in a bit. That lost her about a sec. That lost her pretty much all the progress she made.
Oh my god, that was awful. That was genuinely like.
I feel it.
There was no one around her too. There was no reason for that to happen whatsoever. She just did that. Okay, you know what? Sure. That's just how this race has been going. Honestly,
say that, yeah. I mean, I think like a half of the field has hit that outside wall at least once. Lots of cars with right side damage. Look at the field. Just scrolling by here. So many cars have right side damage already. It's been that kind of day, I think, for everyone here.
Well, of all things, just happy the 23 and 31 got back on track after their incident. I was a bit annoyed given I put my faith in them somewhat. The predictions that came out for the people in this group, as you see there. And 27 cars on track doesn't, so yeah, that's,
a few cars still running.
Plus of the field gone, and, most of them running a lot of laps down. Sure, a couple of those cars are like just, I don't know, stuck in the pits or whatever, but just, in that case, I assume there's going to be a longer green flag run for a lot of this race, and that's just going to mean Abby Little, this is her race to lose at this point.
Assuming we stay green, to be fair.
Assuming we stay green, but I even think, like, if the 3 cars aren't as good on restarts, which might not be with the damage, that can force the other cars that maybe are faster behind Little. They're going to have to deal with that 3 car, and Little's going to have some time to break away.
What is the least damaged car in the top 5 right now? Is it the 34? I think it might be the 34.
It might be, but the 34 has been an interesting car in that ever since she got out of clean air, she's not really been able to do much of anything.
Yeah, not as good in traffic, I don't think.
No. Well, the 93 is up here. Arina Tosima, entering in the playoffs where she left off, she already had, a couple of points on a couple of drivers, but she's going to be a lot of points ahead on the cut line. I guess that's really the interesting thing. Mimi Barino is sort of in this among 4 playoff drivers. And you can see those playoff drivers too going back to, I think the 82 is not in the playoffs, which means that's 7 of the top 8 currently in there.
Marino's clawed back another half a second. If she didn't hit that wall, she would be a second behind the 71 now. That 3 definitely has a lot of pace on this bit of the run. 71 slowly catching up on the 39, but there's only but the traffic is pretty light. Looks like 3 may have lost a little bit there. 71, maybe things balancing out a little bit between those two. These two, 34 and 31, are kind of managing their own battle here before they can even get to the 3. And the 93, of course, completing that top 5.
But yeah, just last night we saw it was just interesting, the mix of drivers and non-drivers in the top 10. Tonight it's...
What do you mean non-drivers? Eddie, your mic died.
We're gonna have drivers that are gonna be.
Eddie, your mic died for a second.
I am not surprised right now. If it hasn't been obvious already, our sound technician apparently has had enough of North Carolina and I have 2. So I'm just trying to get through this broadcast, if you wouldn't mind.
That's fair. We'll stick with
But
these
yeah,
two cars
Marino
here.
is still doing her best to claw up, clawing within a second. She just clawed 2/10 back.
2/10 on top
But
of the
I think it's
2/10
just
she clawed
interesting.
back
We're
last
going to
time.
have 7 playoff drivers with a good amount of points compared to the drivers who crashed early, and that's going to help them, I think, make a at least clear themselves. You want to have, and this is a baseball term, and I know we don't like crossing sports around with racing that much, but the idea of insurance is so much needed, especially in these 2 series. Having that insurance on this first race is definitely going to help, and especially for a driver like Taylor Happeman, and Abby Little, who by all means, I would not be shocked if someone had told me that they believed these would be the first 5 drivers, among the first 5 drivers out. Those 2 having that insurance is going to be very critical, because if they have they've shown less consistent runs. If they go back to that, this run could get them into the round of 15.
Yeah. And that's going to be important given how close the points are in this to start this round. As the 71 and 3 continued trading laps, it went down and went back up now to 2.2 seconds. Looks like there really isn't really a consensus on which car is faster over the longer run. The 71's finally reached the 39 now. This might slow her down a little bit, but still lots of racing left to go here. Because I think we're gonna get our second large. Well, not quite yet. This is, I think, to the point where we're gonna start. Lap traffic becomes a real big factor again. But the 71's gonna have quite a few cars to kind of negotiate here. She makes a hash with the 3 might be there, and then. Oh, the 34's lost quite a bit of ground. She's fallen behind the 93. And the 92 of Michele Yatica as well. Might leave her vulnerable to the 23 of Yappy Malixon and the 18 of, 23, 18, and 64. That's the next 3 cars. They're all running nose to tail back there as well. This has kind of been the order of the day racing-wise. It's been a bit of a slow and steady affair. You get a bit of cheeky 3 wide here. Yania Waterton, 27 of Garnston, and, ooh, just a bit of... 27
what
got.
The heck was
27 had a little.
Garnston?
Garnston had a bit of a bobble on exit. Just kind of drove into the inside a little bit. 13, those I think may have noticed that and also kind of jumped into the inside a little bit.
Oh, and then
there.
Something's happening on 3 and 4 with 27. That's 2 really bad attempts at it these past 2 laps.
Head there to the back of this pack, and then we'll cycle back onto the 71. Who's negotiating her way around the 39 of Lily Talberson. That's 1 car between her and 3 again. Gap has gone way down under 1.5 seconds now. But again, that 1 lap. But 39 serving as that little buffer. 71's doing a good job here of just kind of making sure to maintain that gap without burning off too much tire life, I think. And we'll see how that translates over the course of the rest of the race.
And I ain't got much else to say. I'm looking at this like we're at that point where there's just not enough cars on track for a caution to be, readily available. So it's just seeing whether this is a green flag run or if someone just decides, you know what, chaos is gonna help me out, so why not cause some?
Yeah, maybe until at least we get some cars some cars come in for fresh tires. That's usually something that also kind of causes a little bit of strife. Is that when cars are on different tire cycles, that kind of causes the differential and pace kind of causes issues as well. And that's something we've seen already, I think. Cars getting a little impatient when trying to pass on new tires. Just kind of running into other cars who are trying to just kind of run their own race or trying to block off the other drivers from gaining ground on them. And I feel like that's gonna be, if there is another caution, that's gonna be the primary source for one. Given that everyone's kind of calmed down a little bit, I think now. Ooh, 71 missed the corner there.
Yeah, what? Okay, just got to make sure 39 doesn't get under her, which
no, she won't. Yeah. Good thing is 39 is far away, but 71 just missed the corner again.
Okay.
You don't.
MNC Racing, is this who you want to put all your championship hopes on? I mean, I know Vancy's around, but like seriously, what the heck?
She hasn't lost a position. She hasn't at least lost the spot to the 39 at least. She's made the corner that time.
Oh,
39
the
is
39
pulling
just
over.
parked the bus out of turn 4.
39 pulled over. I'd say that helps the 3, but not really because it forces her to the outside. So the 39's kind of doing whatever there. That kind of doesn't really. And the 71 responds by also missing the corner. We're looking at some generational goof. We're looking at some generational racing here.
And again,
Neither
this is
driver.
Lori Schliesenbach. Are we surprised that Lori Schliesenbach, and I don't even know who's driving 39 at this point.
Lily Tulberson. It's always been Lily Tulberson.
I don't care. The ERR cars all run together in my head. Don't worry.
Wow.
No, but yeah, I mean, at this point, for those two drivers, you know, season's over. You know, you're just trying to make sure you don't get replaced by a Continental driver. Why not just be annoying? Least you could do.
Well, and with that, I think it's gonna. Oop, there he goes to the inside finally. And with that, I think it's a good time to kind of segue over to our fan pick segment. 71 obviously looking really good here. Eddie, do you think you're gonna go with this car or maybe go with another car here? Obviously.
Listen, if Jackie Kennedy can win, Jackie Kennedy can win from first place when I predict her at the Continental race, I think Abby Little can do the same thing in this one. So yeah, I don't think there's much else of a chance. Even with a caution, I do think the right side damage is going to cause problems for Mimi Barrino on a restart. And if there are faster cars, they're gonna have to work their way around Barrino. And Little's gonna get the gap she needs to sort of pull away. So unless there's some random pit BS, which again it's MNC Racing, but then again, pit BS has not cost anyone tonight. I don't think. I think we can see Abby Little get into victory lane and qualify herself to the round of 15, be the first car to do so, and yeah, set MNC up with a lot of, I guess, insurance and a lot of time to just sort of mess around in the round of 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if we do get one more caution to really shake things up here, but I feel like if that's going to benefit anyone, it might not be either one of these top two cars, but it might actually be this car right here, the 93 of Arinia Tosima, who's been kind of a specialist in taking advantage of situations like this. Running at the front, always there and thereabouts, and striking at the best time to kind of take home those wins. Obviously, those 4 wins in the regular season kind of speak for themselves. He's already won at a fairly flat track at Phoenix this season. And I guess you can kind of count Indy as well. That's a very different kind of track, albeit one with low banking as well. He's kind of been a flatter track specialist, I guess. But regardless, he's running up here in the top 5. Most likely will need a caution to get within contention of the race win, but given that both the 71 and I think the 71, 3, and 31 both have pretty decent right side damage, the 93 looks fairly spotless compared to them here for now. And if things stay that way, well, maybe that 93 is gonna be able to kind of wrangle that car up ahead of those 3. As the 92 there hits the wall of all cars.
Kaylee Yataka's surprise, not really. Actually, so Marino has actually kept close, even with the lap car stuff.
Yeah, she's doing a better job this time. She's holding steady
yeah,
with the 71 here.
I guess Schliesenbach kind of may have messed with Little just a little bit, and that's going to allow Barrino to be within a second.
But yeah, these
Makes things interesting at least. Hopefully this means Echo and Madison can have something to talk about.
But yeah, these lap times are starting to really tumble down now. They're in the 22-second range, so these teams might be already thinking about potentially making that stop pretty soon here. And yeah, we'll send it over now to Echo and Madison for commentary of the rest of the race. We'll see you guys at latest at the end of the race for the post-race show for everyone.
Stick around.
Yeah, Madison, do you have a pick for the FanDuel fan picks here?
I feel like there's a very sinister and rather disturbing spirit telling me that Perry Alcantes will win this race. But seriously, I do think that the 18 could potentially get up there. I know I talk potential women a lot tonight, but I do think the 18 has been able to run very solidly with these other cars, and I do think that Alcantes could get up there, and the 92 has a problem. And that's kind of all I have to say. I think given a caution, the 18 is in right position to do something. What do you think?
I'm going to take Mimi Barrino. She's been fast on the short tracks for quite a bit. For quite a while. That 3 car, she's run very well on these kinds of tracks. She finished second back at Echo Energy International Speedway, a pretty similar track to this one. She's running really well here. She's been continually closing on the 71 for quite a while. I think I'm taking Barrino. I think it's the 3 car. I think it's finally her time to shine.
I see it. We have 150 laps to go here, so a lot to be decided. We could get more cautions. We could have this green flag run that's dominated the later part of this first half of the race continue. You never know. I think just about anything could happen.
Well, you know what else we might be approaching soon is pit stops. Because, you know, you're seeing how slow these cars are now. Look at their lap times. They're about 3 seconds off their fast laps right now.
Yeah, that's huge in a short track. So we haven't seen green flag pit stops yet in this race. So I think that'll really play a lot. And given how much tires matter, you must get the undercut by the end of the last run. I'm not so sure about the middle runs. I think if you expect it to go really long, there might be an argument for an overcut to some extent. But the undercut is the safer option, I think.
I think you gotta. I think if I'm like playing this out, I would want to pit in about the middle of the run. I don't want to pit in the too early because I'm gonna lose too much at the end. But I don't want to pit too late because I lose too much staying out long before coming in. So you know you want to be in the middle towards the end. I think.
I don't disagree. I think end is a little bit risky just because you're expecting it to be a long run, and it isn't always, but I think early is safer if you expect it to be a short run. It's safer in case a caution does come out, but that's never guaranteed, and you likely will lose spots later. We saw that with cautions where, you know, even a 5-lap tire difference could mean something with these pit stops. Certainly a 10-lap tire difference would. So all I can say is we'll see how it works out, and I think we can both appreciate not having the stress of being crew chiefs in the AWSCO series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Perry Alicantes, she's been making some moves. She's been climbing up through the field. I know you pointed her out in your mid-race pick, but that 18 car definitely looks like she may be one of the cars to reckon with here. She's now trying to pull up and battle for 3rd spot with Taylor Happelman.
I spoke about taking advantage of a caution, and it's looking more like she may have real pace here in these longer green runs, perhaps. I mean, while we were talking about some of our fan picks, of course, I believe it was Rosjek who mentioned the 93. Of course, Tosima got passed by Alcantes during that time, and now working on 3rd. So I think that 18 does have quite a bit of pace. And that's not to overshadow Happelman. She has been running very well tonight. Surprised nobody really picked her, but there just are some good candidates for this win, and it's kind of hard to pick, admittedly. That's the fun of it.
I'm also kind of surprised we didn't see anybody take Malikson or Harina. Those two led earlier on. Now you're seeing Alicantes now trying to take it 3 wide. Interestingly, we're seeing the Highline kind of come in here. And Alicantes just made that pass on the outside.
Yeah, that certainly is remarkable, and as I was about to say, with the outside, we saw Harina use it decently well on some of those restarts to at least maintain ground or limit losses, as opposed to just some other cars that would just totally lose out up there. And on early restarts, you would totally lose out up there, but again, as the run goes on, you have more cars running up there, especially side by side, and that line does come in. I would not say it's a dominant line, but I think it is becoming at least competent now.
You just see the tire wear. They are so much slower. Mid-corner, they're running about 82, and, you know, when they're on fresh tires, they're running about in the mid-90s. I'm running about in the low 80s now in the corners now. That's how much the tire wear affects you here. See that Nihil and Malixon fighting for 6th spot here. 64 on the 23.
For those of you who might be a bit newer to racing, 3 seconds is practically an eternity around, well, any track really, but especially one this small. So we're talking massive amounts of tire wear. It's a question of when these pit stops happen, and I'm admittedly a bit surprised they're not happening yet, but I suppose fuel is more the dictatorial factor than tires are as far as
well,
when
the tire window is about 100 laps. We're seeing some cars come to pit road now, but these are lap cars. But I think that we may see the tire window start kicking in here fairly soon.
To be fair, though, I think our last restart was, what, around 152, right? And it's been 112 laps since then, so if it is 100, I think a good bit overdue.
I'm gonna check that. Their last pit stops were around lap 165 to 167. So yeah, we are about the 100 lap mark.
Okay, I did sort of miss another restart, I guess, just in my memory. This has been quite the race, though, so can you blame me? Yeah,
No. It's been a fun race. Especially this part of the race has been very fun.
It has, and you've really seen Barino close in quite a bit on the 71 with that lap traffic. Of course, Jukovic and Doan in that sort of factor. And we're seeing, of course, you mentioned the 10 is the first car coming to pit road. I believe I saw a couple others down there as well. Just a question of when the leaders come in. I think they're going to let those back markers, let those lap cars dictate when it starts, and then they'll just feel however long they want to wait. 2 laps, 3, 5, maybe even 10, and then come in and take their tires. Of course, we're seeing the 92 come in now, so
the 32, you mean?
Somebody's going to bite the bullet. I saw the 92 come in, I thought.
Well, the 92 is out of the race. So, unless you're seeing, like, ghosts, I don't...
Anyway, point is, I think soon we will see the leaders come in. It's just a question of how long they're willing to wait.
32 of Rariston's in. She's laps down. Oh, dear. Ku is on fresh tires, and she almost just turned the 34 around. Oh, the 10 almost did the same thing to the 18.
Chasenbach was collateral in that.
Look at how slow they are. They're real slow. This is almost Motegi levels of slow, but this is a much shorter track, so it's even more pronounced here. I mean, again, you're seeing the cars with fresh tires just absolutely blow through.
Oh, that was an incredible set on the 18. I think a little too incredible.
That's just what happens when you have these tires.
Yeah, these AWSCO drivers, I guess they don't really see how much
Whoa.
have.
The 17 just got into the 3. This is when it starts getting really hairy. I think this could be a spot where we may see a caution happen. These lap cars with fresh tires. Oh, make something like that happen.
Oh, there's a lot of it. Now, can I just say, as I was going to mention earlier before things got a bit chaotic, I think these AWSCO drivers, I think they have a bit more trouble than some of the others with, I guess, just restraint when they have fresh tires, because it is go, go, go for them, but the question is, how much go, go, go can you do before it becomes a big problem? And I don't think the AWSCO drivers, when they're on these fresh tires, in many cases, understand that to its full extent. You saw that with Youngway Ku making that big dive bomb on the 18, and that didn't end up being catastrophe, but
well, it's kind of
very much an edge of your seat moment.
It is also just kind of hard to keep yourself paced when you have really fresh tires. You just go so much faster. It's really hard to keep restraint when you're trying to make up time like this.
It is true. I'm supposed to be asking to some extent, like, Talladega back in 1969, the drivers are saying, we're going 180 miles an hour, our cars and our tires weren't built for that. And then Bill France just asked them, well, why don't you go 150? That's safe, right? It's just an insult because, the point is, you're supposed to go fast. And somebody's got to set the precedent. Somebody's going to go faster than 150, and it just escalates. And I guess to some extent, that's what it's like here. You have the speed, why not use it? And to some extent, the consequence, if it does cause a crash, doesn't matter as much. Seeing the 62 come in.
62 is in, yeah.
You see Alicia burn quite slow there. A few cars passing her.
I wonder if they're trying to extend the window out here, maybe so that they can make it on just one stop. I kind of wonder if that's why they're staying out so long. To try and one stop this to the finish.
I don't think that would be the case for some of the drivers who did come in like the lap cars because, frankly, they don't really have that much to lose. But if you're a leader or even just on the lead lap generally, you do have a lot to lose. So
yeah,
I see the logic in extenuating this pit window and seeing, can I do this in just one pit stop rather than two? I think that's based on the reasonable assumption that this goes green rest of the way. I mean, it has been green for the better part of 100 laps now, so I think there is quite a lot of logic in that.
They're almost, they're a full 4 seconds off their fast laps now, so. And Alacantes has actually reeled Burrito in. Burrito really had a lot of trouble. Oh, caution, caution.
Caution.
There we go. I think the 17 might have gone around.
Well, that kind of spoils the
There goes that narrative.
Yeah, well, no green flag pit stops, and you might have another pit cycle before the end of this race if things do actually end up not lasting 120 laps on a set of tires.
You have to pit here. There's no way. I don't see any way we don't pit here. 8 car of Lowry Schliesenbach will be the free pass car. We'll see if she actually just
closing in on the 3. We'll see how that plays into the race off of pit road as Little gets out just ahead of the 21. A bit of a hair-raising moment there just. 18 about to finish up her stop.
18's out now,
so
yeah.
Quite a ways behind Burrito, actually, so not that great of a pit stop.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. Still third.
It's true.
Nihale,
She was quite
Tosima,
close previously.
Happeman. Alec. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be right on each other's bumper for the restarts anyways.
That is true. I suppose there's just a question of, do you take second coming off pit road with a good pit stop? Because, as I remember, the 18 and the 3 were rather close on the
They were
racetrack.
fairly close, yeah. I mean, they're still going to be closer on the restart.
They will, and on pressure tires, so you're not as awkward, I suppose, in terms of pace.
The 62 choose to stay out. I think she might have.
Remember, though, the 62 did just come in.
She did just come in, yes.
Before the caution. The 10 as well came in somewhat recently also, and the 32 as well. I might be missing a few cars, but there were a handful of cars that their laps kind of decided they didn't have much else to do.
Still have 16 cars on lead lap, and I think that's not a particularly, that's not a number to scoff at, really, so.
Really, given there's what? A couple dozen and some change in the race still?
26,
okay,
yeah.
There's still 26, yeah.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened. I think it was the 17.
The 17 is slow, yeah.
She was slow. Now, she was one of the cars that had fresh tires.
The 10 as well back there. I suppose that might play a role in something. No, I think it's...
She runs up on all these cars. Oh, there we go.
Oh. Well, that is injury to insult. You have those fresh tires. You run into another car, but you're the one that spins instead of the one you hit.
Well, hopefully we'll get a decent bit of green flag racing still before the end of this race. But it's Abby Little leading the way. Mimi Barrino, Perry Alacantes, Jocelyn Unihale, and Irina Tosum at the top 5. Taylor Happelman, Yapi Malixon, Mika Harina, Pace Lanieri, Amani Wandayo make up the top 10. It is 7 playoff drivers in the top 10 right now. All right. Little will have the lead going to the restart. Here we go. And the 3
Little
didn't.
had a great jump there over the 3.
Yeah,
I
3
think
didn't go.
Alcantara is going to try and take second already.
Here comes the 18 for
Quarter
second.
panel.
Ooh, they're getting tight. 23 and 34 made contact.
Side by side down the back between the 3 and the 18. Alcantes, I think, is going to be clear. Not just yet, but very soon.
She's got the she's got the edge, and yeah, she'll have it.
She is clear now.
Alacantes
About to look for third.
Alacantes to second. Nahil looking for third. She's sticking in fourth right now. Tosimus fifth. Yappy Malikson hanging on to seventh right now. She had maybe a look. She was thinking about looking on Happeman.
We'll see if Alcantes can catch up to the 71 of Little here. Of course, Little didn't get that great jump, but we've talked about Alcantes just generally get great pace across the board. Before this caution and made the move for second, and did close in a 10th on that last lap.
There was a spin on the backstretch. Bria DeLaude went around. No yellow.
She's quite close on the apron, and the leaders will be there. Yeah, I think she is just off the apron now, but clearly slower. Off the pace.
She's coming to pit road. Must have damaged something. 8 car of Schliesenbach is down pit road as well. Might have been contact between those two. Ooh, Happeman just slapped the wall. But Abby Little still holds on to the lead after the restart. Seeing Mika Haurina making looks on Yappy Malikson for 7th. Little, I think just touched the wall. I think she did, yeah. Nihale is up to 4th. Here comes Malikson underneath Taylor Happeman for the 6th position.
Up front, the gap for the lead is cut in half.
Yeah, it's closing. Alacantes is really looking strong right now. That's a couple Fords out front. And Ford, I think this is a very interesting thing to note, but Ford, every single Ford except for one made the playoffs. The only one that didn't make it was the 91 of Alicia Byrne. And there's the 91 of Alicia Byrne. She's the only Ford that doesn't have that black and blue banner. Paceland Yeria battling with Mika Haurina, trying to take 7th. Yeria's got that spot. The 82 car having a pretty solid run today. 71 kind of went a little wide. Alacantes made a look to the inside, but Little closed the door. But Little is under pressure, and the caution is out. I believe the 10 of Audie Stoneman. 13 of Waterton.
That is everyone from the lead lap pitting, I think, unless the 46 stayed out.
.46 did not stay out, from what I can tell.
All right, well, that is everybody, just as you would hope.
.18's gonna lose a spawn on pit road here.
Yeah, pit crew not performing as much tonight, although it will be just immediately behind us. Not like that is going to be the gap. Side by side between the 93 and 22 back there, I think.
That's a 64.
Or 64, excuse me. Thought I saw a yellow car. Anyway. Lap car's also coming in.
Except for the 8.
See what happened with the 10. Out of the race.
She was really slow already.
I think the Edge had just decided, nope, not today. What are we even doing out here, the Edge instead? No point.
Is that even the reason for the caution?
Is it?
I don't think it was.
Because
I
I
don't
wouldn't
think she
normally
was-
throw it. Like,
I don't think she was going slow enough for that to be a yellow.
It did coincide with that, I will say. The 10 did come straight to pit road.
Oh,
did
it
she not?
went right there. Oh. That thing smoked for just a little bit and then it was just gone.
Yeah.
Caution was
Hang on a
out
minute.
there. Caution was
Caution
out
was
way
already out.
before. I can't see anything else that happened. So, yeah, I guess maybe it was.
Did get slow on the racing line there. That moment. One of not that many times that race control tends to throw the yellow flag a bit preemptively.
Yeah, but then they'll, we'll see, like, the 55 car literally got spun around and she retired and they did nothing.
Nothing happened.
Well, we're gonna go back green here. Raja?
Huge puff of smoke coming from the 10 car there. I think the valves have gone on one of the cylinders on the 10 car there. You could see just how big of a smoke plume that was. That was a spectacular engine failure on the Red Racing Chevrolet there. That's obviously going to take her out of the race, and that'll be the end of that. That'll be the end of her race there. Fortunate for the 10 car.
Well, we're gonna go back green. There's still 7 of the top 10 are playoff drivers. Marino now in second, pressuring Little. She's got a second chance to try and get by that 71. And not, sacrifice the position on the restart. Alicantes got blocked in by the car in front of her. That was a big reason why the 18 lost a position on pit road. Marino is all over the 71.
100 laps to go. Little leads. Will she hang on?
Little's looked very strong this part of the race, but she definitely looks vulnerable right now.
Speaking of vulnerable, Alicantes ran wide and Tosima might go for third before long.
Oh,
I say that Alicantes is going to dive back.
She
on
got a good run.
Marino. Contact.
She got a good run on Barrino. I don't think they made contact. I think they were just close, but they didn't touch.
It was very close indeed, and that was an unconventional line through the corner that did serve Alicantes well.
13's on
out
pit
of the
road.
pits.
Not sure why.
Battle continues though.
18. 93 went a little wide. Here comes Nihale for fourth. Alicante's trying to get that second spot back from Barrino. And
Shouldn't be
she
too long, although the
does it.
outside is better. Now clear.
The 13 got a penalty for something related to the wave around procedure, so I'm just gonna pretend like she didn't, basically. Alicantes up to second. Barrino's really starting to slip a little bit. There's Nihill in fourth. Mika Harina's moved back up to fifth. See Tosima in sixth. AWSCO's battling with Yappy Malixon for seventh. You got Taylor Happeman
with Uria.
Yeah, Happeman's fighting with Uria for ninth. Now Happeman's fighting with Malixon for eighth. And then you got the two Burns right next to each other. On track, too. That's for position. The 91 and 9 is. Well, the 91's going 3 wide with the 82 and 23, though. Abby Little, though, still remaining out front, but for how long can the 71 hang on? The 18 looks very fast. She's got a lot of challengers she's going to have to hold off.
Yeah, Alicantes is slowly but surely eating into the lead of that 71. Pretty much the exact same lap time this last time round, but definitely closing in ever so slightly.
Almost exactly the same lap time. Look at that. 8.63 to an 8.64. That time the 71 ran a little faster. I think right now what we're gonna see, you know, if these cars if we kind of just let it run out for a little bit, they run single file like this, and then we'll see them start battling, you know, a little deeper into the run. But right now, it's very calm.
Definitely. Green flag pit stops probably won't be a factor anymore because I think we saw that previous green flag run before the caution. That was about 120 laps, I want to say, and there were no pit stops, so don't expect any here.
I don't either. We're pretty much past the point where they take tires unless we have like maybe some like mid-run strategy, really.
And that's fairly uncommon.
The only way I could see that happening is if we see something like what happened at Motegi, where we saw about half the field come to pit road about midway through the run. That was an excellent race, by the way. You had about half the field come to pit road in the middle of the run, and Mika Harina managed to take the lead with just a lap to go. After pitting, she came back and grabbed the lead because of that. Alicantes is closing up on Little, though. You know, Perry Alicantes, she's probably a little mad. She only had one win this whole season. She was one of the best drivers all year. Only had that one win back at Denver very early in the season to show for it, but she was fast all year. Now she's got a shot at getting her second here in North Wilkesboro in one of the most important times to do it. Tosima fighting with Harina for the fifth position. Alicantes was right there on the 71, but she went way wide. That might not be the worst thing, though. Tosima takes fifth away from Harina. And Harina's pretty well been shuffled to the high lane. It's kind of four cars. You got four cars really all just mashed together right now.
Yeah, these top four here pretty much are just line astern more or less, and the question is, what'll they make moves? It'll be just whoever manages their tires better, and I think throughout these the last green flag run before this one, I think it was Alicantes for the most part, although I think passing is not necessarily easy here, but it is possible, and I suppose we'll see where that goes. I think it'll just be whoever manages their tires best, whoever doesn't use them as much of their stuff up, that will dominate in this run.
I
Still,
think,
otherwise they're further back as well.
I think passing will get easier the further into the run we go.
Are you saying that just more so from the standpoint of tires are worn out, so drivers who haven't managed as well might be a bit slower?
I'm just saying
more
it mostly.
mistakes?
I'm just saying it mostly from what we've seen in this race. It's looked like as we've gotten deeper into the runs, the passing has become easier. As here comes Alicantes, looking to the inside,
speaking of
she
passing-
gets there. Little made a mistake, got into the fence, and Perry Alicantes battling Little for the lead.
That was bold and intimidating and not quite clear yet, but I think will be before long if things go to plan. Side by side down the back
Ooh, they're
here.
pretty tight though. They're really close to each other.
Not anymore. 18 out front.
18 to the lead. Perry Alicantes now out front. The driver from Mexico has taken the lead. Sorry, I should clarify, from Guadalajara, Mexico. Oh, Mika Harina just trying to hang on back here for 6th. See AWSCO pushing her. You see Taylor Happeman back here. Might as well have a bit of a playoff driver update. Alicantes leading. Little is 2nd. Nihale 4th. Tosuma is 5th. Harina is 6th. Happeman is 8th. Yanaga is 12th. Malikson is 13th. Davison is 15th. Waterton is 16th, 1 lap down. So we have a fight for 3rd here between Nihil and Barrino. Waterton is 16th, a lap down. Jukovic is 20th, 2 laps down. Talberson is 5 laps down at 21st. Rariston, Nihil still trying to take 3rd there. Where is the 62? There's the 62. Jukovic is, or not the 62, the 32 is who I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind here.
Evidently.
32. Rariston is
7
7 laps down at 23rd. And Angeli Rigatino in the 96, 8 laps down, 24th. Those are the playoff drivers that are still running. Ones that are not running, Bria Delade, 20 out of the race in 26th. Valicia Vancy, 33rd. Marisha Vebels, 34th. Arlen Hanstrom, 36th. Ava Jarsraj, 37th. Jemmy McJasmine, 40th. We may have a fight for 2nd here before long, too, because Jocelyn Nihale is closing in on Abby Little.
Yeah, we saw it take 3rd there as you were going through the playoff running order. Starting to gradually close in on the 71. And I'd like to point out, speaking of the 71, that gap ahead widening quite a bit. 2 seconds now for the lead. Alicantes has pulled out.
Yeah, Little really has dropped back. Alicantes has pulled way away from Little.
Do you think Little may be saving her stuff up a bit?
I don't know. I feel like this is a bit too much. This is a bit too much give up to be saving.
Might have used their stuff up earlier. Hard to say. That's another 10th and a half cut out.
Ooh, she slid real wide. I thought she was gonna hit the wall again. We're watching this. This is pretty much the best we've got right now for battles on track right now. The 64 and 71. Not really a lot of side-by-side right now. Everybody seems to be calming down a bit. But it's been a lot more. We've had a lot more action than we had yesterday in the Continental race, I would say, especially up front. You know, next week we're going to a track with a lot of action too for the second race in the round of in the first round. It's Kansas next week. That track's going to be fun. That track's always pretty fun, no matter what series we're in.
Absolutely, we've seen that with NASCAR has put on some of the best races there. Some would even say that is the best track in NASCAR right now. Of course, IndyCar used to run that at one point and put on some good racing there. Of course, I would imagine that AWSCO would put on some great racing as well. Does almost everywhere we go.
Yeah.
I think Alcantes might be dealing with some lap traffic up ahead.
She's just gone around the
Well, she did deal
96
with
there.
Ruggiero.
Hey, there's the MBYW cars right next to each other. The 13 and the 3. There's a caution. The 13 gets back in the lead lap. I feel like pointing that out.
Yeah, the 13, of course, did lead laps earlier in this race and is not
Yeah.
slow. So get a lap back, and she could be a threat for a very good position, maybe even the win if things go just right.
If she has enough time, maybe. 18's pretty well pulling away. Now we're seeing the 64 of Jocelyn and Nihil trying to go around the outside a little.
See the vision, but I'm not so sure that the outside is quite good enough to make a pass up there yet, in terms of just regularly doing that. Certainly is good enough to just hold your own, though, I will say.
We'll see if Nihil can make it work, but I think the outside works a little better when you go up a little wider. Instead of trying to pinch the car down to the inside, you want to go up a little bit higher and just kind of make a little bit of a wider line like this right here. It gives you a bit more momentum on exit.
Yeah, I know that there's a Formula One driver who explained that pretty well.
Looks like she's not going to be able to do it. Oh, never mind. Little just got on the wall again, and here comes Nihil for second. I think this might be the car that has the best chance at battling Alicantes, is Nihil. That 64 does look really fast. She's been charging through a lot of these cars. Here comes Arinia Tosima for the fourth spot on Mimi Barrino, and she may actually be a contender for third here, not too long. Little's been trying to hang on for a good bit, but she just hasn't been able to keep that speed. She's kind of over pushing. I think she's kind of pushing her car a little too much. Meanwhile, Tosima fighting with Barrino. And again, this is what I think this is what I was saying. We're gonna get more better racing later in the run. Tires kind of are a little worn out. They're a little bit more. They're pressuring each other a little more. This is when it gets fun. And hey, the 64 is closing on the 18. 18 is dealing with lap traffic, but 64 is closing.
Closing, but it is a big gap already, of course. Nearly 4 seconds. Was 4 seconds before that, but now we're like 3 and 7.
It's almost 3.5. Although the 64 did lose time there. But again, this is kind of what we saw with Little and Barrino earlier. Tosima's up to fourth. How about AWSCO? She's in 5th spot now in the 60 car.
Yeah, we've seen her top 10 all day, and now we're seeing a bit of the better end of that in the top
Yeah,
5.
she's in the top 5 now. See, Barino's really starting to drop back. That 3 car, I'm not sure what's up, but she's just kind of lost whatever she had. 64 is still trapped in this lap traffic. And we may see the fight for third here on between Tosima and Little.
Well, we're inside of 50 to go. Gap is 4 seconds for the lead from Nihil to Alcante step ahead and growing as time goes on. And yeah, we are seeing that battle for third want to form here.
Tosima looked to the inside, but Little closed the door. And if this battle for third goes on any longer, that could drag AWSCO in.
Got it good.
But Alacantes is gone. She is driven away. And whatever happened to Abby Little's car, I mean, I would say it's definitely not as good as it was before, but also, this 18 is on fire right now. .34, Harina tapped the wall a little bit back there. I think another thing Nihil is having issues with is the 13 is fast enough to where the 13 is starting to kind of disturb the 64's trajectory here. 64 wants to keep going forward, but the 13 keeps bothering that by sticking her nose in. But Perry Alacantes looking very strong right now. Almost a 5-second lead on Jocelyn and Nihil. And Nihil's still trying to navigate some lap traffic.
Of course, that's the AWSCO in particular, and I'm really not seeing that many gains for the 64 on the 8 right now. Just in that sort of, I would have paced a little bit through the car ahead, but not fast enough to do anything about it. Get passed by Waterton, actually.
She's letting the 13 by now. I mean, I would let the 13 by.
Injury to insult.
I would just let the 13 by. She's clearly faster. Just let her go here. Meanwhile, change for 4th place. AWSCO now up to 4th. Taylor Happman trying to take 5th away from Tosima. That actually did help Nihil get by. Nihil is able to get by Schliesenbach now, not playing defense here.
It did. I suppose the strategy of using one lap cars to sort of get the other out of the way and use it as a pick sort of does make some sense then. We're seeing a little passing Rugatino here. AWSCO there as well. Might take
AWSCO's really closing. AWSCO's really closed up.
Might. Oh yeah, might make the podium here. That gap out front, gargantuan. Before long, it'll be 6 seconds, I'd imagine, at this rate.
And we'll see. Oh yeah, she did gain quite
So
a
it's
bit.
5 and
I mean,
7,
the 18's in
roughly,
lap.
almost 6.
The 18's in lap traffic too. So.
And still faster.
Still running faster times than Nihil right now. Nihil did gain that time, though. Alicante is kind of getting trapped behind this 39 car.
Nihil did gain, but it's a dollar. It's a
Okay.
dollar short and a day late, really. I mean, what?
I
Not
wouldn't
many
say,
laps to
I
go?
wouldn't say that. There's still over 40 laps to go. Or there's still over 30 laps to go,
That is
excuse me.
true.
I wouldn't say that it's too late, especially if we get a yellow. That would change a lot of things. And with the way that the field is racing right now, a yellow, I feel like, is not out of the question.
Sure, I think a yellow is really, as far as I'm concerned, the only way that it could really change the situation for the lead all that much. Because you'd have to consistently gain multiple tenths a lap, and is that going to happen? From the evidence I've seen so far, I'm not so sure. But I'm not ruling anything out necessarily. AWSCO can have anything happen, really.
I mean, you've seen this with this track, especially, you know, you can just kind of get random cars spinning out for no reason out of nowhere. That is not entirely out of the question. Here's the battle for third. AWSCO trying to take it away from Abby Little.
Have him in there as well, maybe to try and pick up fourth afterward.
Yeah?
I think we'll pick up fourth afterward.
She's trying. She may do it. Yep, she will. Happeman will take fourth. Little slides back to fifth. Alicante's with a 5.5 second lead with 30 laps to go. It seems pretty insurmountable. Oh, we got a car slow. That's Rugatino. This might be our caution.
She stops. She is
Yes, it is our
on the
caution.
line. Take your
Well,
chance, Mr.
well,
Frost. Change
well.
the situation, but a caution does.
Now it's a whole new ball game. 13 gets the free pass.
You know, I mentioned throughout the night,
Oop.
do you take tires or not? I
Yes.
still think you should. And I
Take
think
tires.
Everybody else thinks you
Everybody,
should.
everybody's taking tires here.
But if there's another caution after this, I think that depends a bit more. Because we see the advantage that 5 or 10 might have. But if it's, say, with 5 or 10 to go, I think there's a chance that if you're in the top 3 and you don't pit, or top 5 and you don't pit, if there's an
You can
uphill
hang
split,
on.
You could. Yeah, you could.
You
It's
can hang
risky,
on.
But if there's another caution after this, it's more of a question. I think here you do pit. If there's a second caution, that's more of a question.
Yeah, you have to pit here. I feel like it's pretty much unquestionable you pit here. Now things are going to change, though. Alicantes wins the race out. It'll be Nihil. It'll be AWSCO. Little. Barino. Happeman. Tosima. Haurina, Yiria, and one of the Burns. Somebody with the last name Burn will get that 10th spot. 13 is the free pass car. If she didn't gain her lap back here, she will now. She will gain it on the restart when I lap plus her. So it is the 9 car officially that will get... It is the 9 car. Carly Byrne is going to be the one who gets the who gets that 10th spot over Alicia. Well, we got 25 laps to go right now. We're going to have a late restart, Madison. What do you think? Who has the best shot here?
Honestly, I still think it's Alicantes. I'm not convinced by Nighthale because she barely closed in on the previous run. AWSCO's not bad, but I think she has more of a long run car, and we're not going to get a long run. I'm not convinced by Little because all she's done over the last few runs is lose. I think, especially in the short run as well. It's not going to be Brino. She has more of a long run car, I think, as well. I just don't see anybody other than Alicantes winning unless something dramatic happens.
We'll see. Pace car is off. Alicantes, Nihale, AWSCO, Little, Barino, Happerman, Tosima, Haurina, Yiria, and Carly Byrne is the top 10.
And they're off.
Here we go. Decent restart for Alicantes. Looked like everybody got pretty solid restarts. Tosima trying to pass Happerman. 6th spot at stake. Reno kind of on the bumper of Little there. Thought there might have been some contact made, but Little hung on to it.
Happerman getting shoved around a bit with Harina trying to get by.
Yeah, Happerman's stuck up at the outside now. Coming to 20 laps to go. Perry Alicantes looking for her 2nd win of the year. Jocelyn Nihale looking for her 1st, despite the fact that she came in 2nd in the regular season points. Maybe a fight for 3rd. Little's closing up on AWSCO. And Nihale's doing a pretty decent job keeping with the 18. Although I say that and she just lost a bunch of ground there. Happerman is still losing ground. She is still stuck up on the outside.
Yeah, that outside on restarts in particular has not been good at all tonight, and Happerman's certainly suffering for it.
3rd
Little,
spot.
gonna try and make a move back on AWSCO for 3rd.
71, going for 3rd. Abby Little. Don't think she has it clear, but she is gaining the... She's going to gain the spot back here. Ooh, AWSCO fought back. Oh, Barino. Barino just absolutely tried to knock down the wall.
Little just about clear. Should be off.
Clear now.
Is off.
Ooh, but she hit the wall, and AWSCO is going to cross her over and take that spot back. And it's all for naught for Little.
Little loses all she earned.
Cosima's up to 5th. Nigel's closing up on Alicantes. I don't think it's over between these two. But I think that with the 71 and 60 battling each other, that has pretty much pushed them out of it unless we get another yellow.
Not rule anything out, but we'll have to see. I'm not so sure about Nihil. I mean, she is there. Question is, though, catching is a different thing than passing. And with, 11 to go, the window's 11 to go, coming up to the flag this time, it will be a question of can you pass?
Well, it'll also be a bit of a question of can you catch, too, because she hasn't even really caught the 18. She's a little behind the 18, but she isn't really caught up. Yappy Malikson is now 10th.
Laps left. Gap is more or less the same, less than half a second. But it needs to be a lot less than that for the move to be made.
And the 64 is starting to slip back a little bit. Perry Alicantes may be in the prime spot to lock herself into the second round of the playoffs.
That is if everybody keeps it straight. We are still in that window to where if we do get a caution, we will have a restart afterward. A short one granted, but there will be a restart afterward if we get a caution now.
Yeah,
so
but every
laps and then you're basically safe.
everybody's pretty well starting to spread out now, though. Everybody's kind of spread out, and they're all single filed up. And Nihil's just not really close enough right now. 6 laps to go. It's going to take a mistake from Alicantes to get the 64 even into this.
Yeah, Nihil is close, but I think now it's appropriate to say that it's a daylight dollar short. Might have been jumping the gun a bit earlier, but I don't think I am now.
She's still close enough to do something if the 18 messes up.
That is a big if, though. Heading up to 4 to go. Really not closing in that much on raw pace.
They're just pretty equal right now on pace. And this has just been something for Nihil that's just kind of happened all year. She's been fast, just never really fast enough to be winning at the end. Still closed a little bit. Gained a bit.
Needs to gain way more than that, though.
Yeah. She also needs to get position on the 18. 2 laps to go.
She does.
And no change in the gap there. No meaningful change. And she slid up. Didn't hit the wall, but that's probably going to be it there for the 64 now. Car is blowing up onto pit road. That's Lily Talberson. White flag. 1 lap to go for Perry Alicantes, looking for her second win of the season.
Half a second in the
Nihil tried so hard, but she got in the wall. That's it. And it's going to be Perry Alicantes, who finally takes her second win of the season. Alicantes wins in North Wilkesboro and advances to the second round a couple races early.
Good second for Nihil, but probably a bitter loss.
Well,
AWSCO takes third.
You know what?
Then it's Swissima.
For Nihil, you can't say she didn't try, and she didn't lose a position from it, so good for points.
Not much lost, but could have been a lot more gained.
Perry Alicantes with a big win here at North Wilkesboro. And that will send her to the next round, the second round of the playoffs. What were your thoughts on this one after the dust settled? How you feel about how this race went, and what do you think we can expect for the next two races?
Well, I think this is definitely a race that had, well, just about everything you could ask for. Very chaotic start. A lot of long green flag runs, some very random cautions, and a good bit of strategy to suspect about, but no green flag pit stops this time. I think if you gave the textbook or dictionary definition for an AWSCO race, this might be it. All things considered, pretty good, and I'd say quite favorable. Next two races, I would certainly expect quite a bit. Certainly from Kansas, quite a show.
Yeah, Kansas will be very, very interesting. And we've got a couple really fun races because we've got Kansas and we've got Watkins Glen coming up. But with that being said, I think we're going to take it down to our FanDuel Fan Studio for our post-race report. We'll have the playoff cut line standings. We'll have a bit of a foresight into the next couple races, and we may have even some ideas as to who we think might be the exits from this first round of the playoffs from our two analysts. All right, Rasha and Eddie, what do you two got down there?
Well, what a run to the flag that was between the 18 of Perry Alicantes and the 64 of Jocelyn Annihilate. For a while, it looked like the 18 was going to waltz into victory, but that final caution certainly made it difficult for the 18 team. But in the end, they hung on to take the victory here and advance to the second round of the playoffs. Eddie, what did you think of the race? It kind of had a bit of everything, as Madison noted.
Yeah, let's just hope the stats guys can get us the cut line, expeditiously. I'd rather appreciate it. I'd be doing it myself right now if it wasn't, staring at about 15 bajillion monitors. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, we will have to deal with the side effects of having picked Abby Little. I was just texted by Madison if I trust management. That's a fair point. I shouldn't. But, sometimes just a little bit of optimism goes a long way. Regardless of that, Perry Alicantes gets a win that I wasn't gonna say she desperately needed, but you lock yourself in.
I mean, yeah,
best you can do there. I'm starting to notice. I think it's starting to get updated. Tosima and Abby Little up there.
Tosima Little and Nihil, I think.
Yeah, 2 Atlantic racing cars in the top 5. Actually, all 4 Atlantic racing cars above the cut line, for that matter. Mason Parker Motorsports has 1 car in the round of 15 and 2 cars sitting out.
It was not a great race for the rest of Mason Parker. Yes, the 98 retired due to something. I still don't know what happened there.
It's Eva Jarsaraj. Sometimes that just happens with her, I think. Other than that, yeah, Evans Ross, Marisha Vebelts now sits. It's actually much larger than I realized. 10 points between Dalot and Vebelts. That's something you can cut down on if your opponent has a bad race. But if the 2 cars are together, that means if the 2 cars survived chaos, that means that's kind of a gap in the end. Admittedly.
When we're starting to see the gap, we're starting to see the kind of gaps start to form up right now. Obviously, those guys at the below the cut line are gonna have the work cut out for them. But at the same time, I mean, there's a 10-point gap between everyone above the cut line and everyone below. That's a pretty significant difference, given that we're only done 1 race in this round. That's definitely interesting.
Although I'll say this, in the Continental Series, I go about 20 points is about where I'd say that's a good amount of insurance. In the
Yes.
Is that what I put? In the Continental, there was about 7 drivers who are 20 points above the cutoff. Here we see 9. Alicantes, Tosima, Little, Nihil, Harina, Yanaga, Malix, and Halfman Davison, all with 20 points on Marisha Vebelst and Felicia Vancy in that first woman out spot. So, yeah, that kind of, I guess, speaks to it. A couple drivers had some really bad runs, and a lot of drivers kept themselves in it, and in the end, that's sort of the difference we see here. Yeah, it's that makes things interesting, and just Kansas is going to have to be a race of, like, seeing which of the top 15 mess up and see which of the bottom 5, run up front, because that's really probably going to set us up for what will be the closer cut line battles.
Yeah, and with the next race being Kansas, there's a lot of things that can happen at a intermediate track like Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be something to behold. We're coming back to fairly high bank speedway racing again. And then, of course, we're gonna round we're gonna finish the first round up with our race at Watkins Glen, which is probably the most entertaining of the road courses. Always something happening at Watkins Glen with any stock
I would
car
know,
races.
unfortunately. I would know.
Ha!
Stupid Duncan. All he had to do was pass an uncharted car that had made like 3 starts on the season, and it would have made the rest of the playoffs so much easier. Holy cow, that was annoying. But anyway, after that traumatic relapse, we can also look at, I guess, just the rest of it. I don't know, I find it immensely funny that, I look at the amount of top 10s in the field, seeing 3 cars with 10 top 10s or more outside the cut line bubble. I don't know, just kind of what I would. And Yania Waterton with 4 top 10s all season, sitting currently 19 points above the cut line.
Well,
just
Waterton
what I expect out of this playoffs.
Well, Waterton has as many top 10s as Vancy has top 5s. And the other 2 have more top 5s. And so does a Yursaraj. The only one one below the cut line that isn't an elephant in the room is McJasmina, and even then she blew up in lap 1. 2, I think, actually. But yeah, lots of notes to take from this early bit of the race.
Honestly, Southwest Racing might want to start looking into other options, because if Jamie has anything to say about this, if she doesn't advance to the next round, she's gonna blame this car just the camshaft blowing up like 5 laps in, and just genuinely like leave the team for another. Like, she can pick up. I mean, she could jump to Evans Ross Racing really easily, because
I mean, Watkins Glen is right here in this round, so if there's any round for Jamie to have a big problem in and have to fight her way back into the top, it's gonna be this one, I would think, with the road course. The round with the road course at the very end.
Yeah.
But yeah, early
we'll
notes.
See if she can claw herself up again. 16-point gap still means, I mean, I know average is probably around 10 points. At least I'd estimate it at that, which means she needs to really be within, I mean, you could say within 15. That's fine, because we know she's good, but also within 10 just in case people don't wreck. Which, that's up to a good run at Kansas, but maybe she's farther back, and maybe that kind of messes it up.
But yeah, good showing, obviously. So yeah, good showing from Atlantic. Mixed results for both Mason Parker and Evans Ross, and MNC, really. Let's see, good showing, pretty decent showing from the red cars that made the playoffs. They're both above the cut line here. And in terms of the owners' points, which run under a different system, they still run under a full points format. The 23 of Malix still holds a 5-point lead over the 64 of the 64 team, and the 18 has moved away up to third. So Alicantes and that 18 team definitely very good now. And if there's anyone who was gonna take the first win of the playoffs, it came down to the cars that, as of the end of this race, are second and third in owners' points. So I think we're still in terms of seeing how the best teams are stacked up in the beginning to start the playoffs. I think we definitely saw the best teams. 2 of the best teams kind of showing up today, and also a good run for the 93 team, who also finished in the top 10. So yeah, definitely seeing good results by the best teams by and large for the best teams up in the full season standings to start the playoffs here.
I also say I am dealing with. See, not quite. Who did I have picked? Oh yeah, I had Rachel Ramos pick. Oh my gosh, talk about Rachel Ramos last week. Sorry, I'm just looking back at like the picks I made. Again, we've made these picks on the non-race studios with the rest of us. At least me and Echo did it, and Ladovic popped in for Continental. I don't know why she didn't do Cup. That's her own thing. But just after the Rachel Ramos thing, I thought I was never going to have hope that any of my race winner picks were going to matter in the playoffs. And man, Mika Harina looked like there was a genuine shot she could have had it. And you see up there, fastest lap, like, she had a car today and just could not get around people to save her life. So, something to look forward to. Something to look at for Atlantic Racing is just how they manage their drivers now, because Nihal and Harina got a good barrier, but Rarson and Yukovic do not. And in all the chaos, like that's.
Yeah. Well, 2 races left to go here in the first round. Obviously, the points are very close as expected, but also a fairly decent gap between the cut line. But all that will likely change after the race at Kansas, given how much of a spectacle races at Kansas tend to be. That's going to be.
Yep.
I do expect quite a bit of action in that race as well.
I'm looking at other stuff. Great. Mika Harina breaks what was a really bad run for her since Surrey. She had 36th and 39th the 2 races heading into the chase. So
bit of a cold streak heading into the playoffs.
Her momentum's back. McJasmine has not had momentum since Iowa, so yikes. Handstrom, since she back-to-back 36th place finishes after finishing first at Darlington for Arlen Handstrom. Sure, that's a confidence killer right there if I've ever seen one. Andrea Davison has continued a run of top 20s since Rio de Janeiro. That's something maybe to watch out for. And then
I think I pointed out Davison as one of the drivers to kind of look out for, kind of stuck in that middle of the playoff zone to start. Obviously on a really good, obviously doing consistently well, but of course, as we see in the playoffs, things can change pretty quickly. So, good to see the 22 team maintaining good form.
Hey, how about Yen Fianaga? Your Southwest Racing teammate absolutely blows up, and not only do you get to the top 10, you also make it your 3rd top 10 in 4 races. Which better than pretty much almost everyone else. I mean, Perry Alacantes has a 2nd and a 1st. Cosimo has back-to-back top 10s, but when you look at drivers with top 10 finishes, there's really not someone who's had as good of run recently as Yen Fianaga. I say that as if before that she didn't also have a 35th at Indianapolis and a 39th at Iowa, but Yenfi can finish top 10 at a consistent rate, which will pay off here. It just might end up, costing her if what we get is something that we've seen in other series. Granted, not series unlike this one, but just in other series where, top 5s suddenly become the norm for playoff drivers and not top 10s. But if it's what I expect this series to be, if she can keep top 10s, Yanaga's in the final 5 and fighting for the championship at Homestead.
Yeah, consistency is going to be absolutely going to be the key here, given how many cars.
I'm sorry, that was the most long-winded thing ever. I would not stop for 3 minutes.
Yeah, consistency is going to be key for all these drivers, obviously. Getting top 10s in every race, especially right now with 20 cars in the playoffs. That's going to be the key to advancing, at least out of the first few rounds, I think. And we'll see in the last 2 rounds, in the last round and obviously the finale, that's where you're going to really want to have top 5s to really have a chance at winning, I think. But otherwise, obviously just kind of make sure the floor doesn't fall out underneath you in these first 2 rounds, as we see some of these drivers have already had that issue to start things off here. And with that, I think we'll send it back to the booth now. I think we've taken a little bit longer than usual to do
a surprise to no one because I'm here.
to close out our post-race show here, we'll move things back to Echo now. She'll wrap up the broadcast for everyone. Thank you for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure having you once again here in the FanDuel Fan Studio, Eddie. Hopefully we'll see you some other time. Hopefully you're not exiled again for some reason. And with that, I've been Rasha on behalf of Eddie. Thank you for watching the broadcast with us, and send it over to Echo now.
Yeah, and a very fun race here from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Perry Alicantes managed to take home the victory in a thriller, really. We had 27 lead changes in this race, which was a lot more than the 2 we had yesterday, so I feel like that was a big improvement. Next week, we got Kansas for both series, both Continental and Cup, and then in 2 weeks, it's Oswego for the Continental Series, a short track. That will be very fun. And Watkins Glen for Cup, another road course to round our first road course actually since Daytona, all the way back in June. So that one will be fun. On behalf of Madison, Eddie, and Rasha, thank you so much for joining. I'm Echo, and I will see you all in the next one. See ya!